like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators.
Like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
It's football season, and Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all the action on the gridiron. With a game-changing rewards program, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats ensures that every fan can catch their favorite teams and players in action. Vivid Seats has you covered with deals that cater to every football enthusiast. And all tickets come back by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Hi, this is Sean McVay of your LA Rams. The Rams play here. KSPN, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Blue Review Morning Show as we get you ready, pumped, excited, overwhelmed for Game 1 of the World Series tonight at Chavez Ravine as the Dodgers and the Yankees battle. The road to Robert's redemption has hit the Fall Classic. Greg Bergman, Andy Kamenetzky get you set this morning until 9 a.m. with all your reaction. Live on 7:10 a.m. on the all-new ESPN LA app and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. The Blue Review Morning Show, made possible this morning by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's and powered by LAX. Planning a trip out of LAX? Make parking a breeze by pre-booking with LAX official parking. Save up to 60% off drive-up rates and skip having to search for a spot. And check this out. Now until November 2nd, when you pre-book, you're automatically entered for a chance to win $10,000 to create your ultimate LA game day. Pick your favorite LA team, choose a home game, anything through 2025, and let a concierge craft a one-of-a-kind experience just for you. Book now and enter to win at parking.flylax.com. That's parking.flylax.com. Let's do it.
It's time for the Blue Review. The Blue Review with Bergman and team.
The Blue Review Morning Show for a Friday. Right now on 710 ESPN, here is Greg Bergman and Andy Kamenetzky.
Let's go, Andy. Game 1, baby. I am excited for tonight. Welcome to the Blue Review Morning Show. This is normally on YouTube, which you know a lot about being on the YouTube channel, right?
I'm an expert on YouTube components. My entire life revolves around my YouTube component.
Exactly.
Locked on Lakers, by the way.
Since this is going to go right into it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to make this purely about the Blue Review, but since you brought it up, Locked on Lakers, available 5 days a week anywhere you get your podcast, Monday through Friday. Never behind a paywall, and for the sickos who like to watch, there is a YouTube component.
Yes, there is a YouTube component, and this is normally a YouTube component, but we got Jorge Briones with us this morning.
Yes.
And look at you. You got the jersey. Who we got there? Is it
I got
Oral?
Freddie Freeman.
Oh, I got Freddie Freeman?
Yeah.
No, good for you.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get into a lot of Freddie Freeman talk because whether or not his ankle is actually up to what it needs to be is going to be a big topic for the rest of the day. But how you feeling this morning, Andy? I feel so pumped up. It's Game 1.
Look, the last time I did a show in the morning with two men who do not deserve Dave Roberts.
Oh, is this what we're going to do, right? Why did we ask you to do this?
I don't know why, but I'm here.
I'm here.
Two men who do not deserve Dave Roberts are about to watch Dave Roberts manage them in the World Series, the place that they said Dave Roberts could not bring them to.
See, that's not true.
That is 100%.
That is absolutely 100% false, and I'll tell you exactly why. It's not that we said that he couldn't do it. We said that he had to do it.
Oh, you just said he wouldn't do it.
No. We said he had to do it, and this was the season to do it. And what has he done in this series? What has he done in this postseason? He has been fantastic. From start to finish, he has pushed every correct button, and there's nothing bad to say about Dave Roberts right now.
Yeah.
So if you want to go with this narrative that we don't deserve Dave Roberts, you sound like Morales right now. Are you tired? Are you tired? That's what you sound like right now.
Spending your hard-earned money?
Oh, no. I have encouraged people
You went the exact opposite way.
I have encouraged people to let them know that hard-earned money was going to a great place because you deserve Dave Roberts.
See, yes.
Some of you do. Not you.
Yeah,
But
so
some of you do. I believe
again,
Emily Hebel deserves Dave Roberts.
No, she was going our way as well.
Oh,
but either
I
either
left her
way,
off the list.
the idea around Dave Roberts
Clinton
in
deserves
this,
Dave Roberts.
he sometimes does.
Is it just me?
I think you're the only one in the
I'm
history.
the only person
in all of LA.
And John, you and John.
Andy
Me and
Kamenetzky.
Ireland.
Oh
No,
yeah.
Ireland.
Oh yeah. Ireland absolutely
Ireland,
does.
big time, yeah.
Well, but he goes hard no matter what. Doesn't matter. He only thinks about the regular season.
Well, John is also always thinking about, could I one day end up working for this team?
Yes,
Like,
that's,
so
if
I
this
need-
doesn't work out with the Lakers,
Right.
can I get
John
over
is
to
always
570?
thinking about the organization whose ass he needs to kiss down the road.
It's not the Raiders, I'll tell you that much.
That-
But either way, if you want to start with Dave Roberts, let's start with Dave Roberts, because the fact is that in this postseason, Dave Roberts has pushed every single correct button. Before the postseason started, my whole thing with him was, I'm going to look at this postseason as just this postseason with Dave. And let's see what he does when gut decision time actually comes. Does he make those right decisions? And he did it time and time again against the Padres. He did it time and time again against the Mets, especially as much as we as fans wanted him to not give away Game 2, or was it Game 3? Not give away Game 3 or Game 5, or whichever it was, 2 and 5. Did not want to give it away. He did anyway. It was 2 and 5. He did not. We didn't want him to do it. He did it anyway to get to wins in Game 3 and in Game 6. He did the right thing for the team, and that was huge for this team.
Well, context always matters, and that's part of why. I mean, all shtick aside, it matters that Dave Roberts has been so good right now because he's had to make a lot of decisions. Like contextually, he's been dealing with so many guys. Forget who was injured heading into the playoffs, guys who become more and more unavailable over the course of the playoffs. Like his decision making has been excellent throughout the playoffs, but it's been more important than other series where, like, you brought the idea of having to surrender those couple games. The reason he's doing that is because he's taking into account, I'm missing so many other guys. I need to bite the bullet on this one game because otherwise they're going to be too burned out from when another more winnable game may present itself. Like, these are the moments where you really start having to be practical, and it's difficult in the playoffs because there's no such thing in the playoffs as an insignificant game. They all matter a lot.
And they do, and that's why fans like us and people around Los Angeles think, how could you give away games? And they were talking about it. I think it was Ken Rosenthal actually said straight up, he gave games away and did not try to chase those wins and just try to see if the offense could just come back. You'd have to do that because everybody's been talking about throughout the entire postseason. If you see relievers 3 times in a series, it's the same thing as seeing a starter 3 times in a game. The more you see a pitcher, the more you know what they're going to throw, the more comfortable you come seeing them. So the more they do that, you had to do it to make it so you can use your bullpen game in Game 6.
Well, you also, too, like when you have that few starters, then you really have to think about these guys that, okay, they are used to throwing a certain small amount of innings. Like, that's what they do. So it's one thing if, say, you're missing more reliever arms, but you've got more starting options. You could maybe decide, okay, you know what, let's chase it a little bit. We'll bring out one of our starters in the 4th inning, hope we can get 3 innings out of him, and maybe the offense wakes up, something like that. But when you're dealing with all of these guys who throw 2 innings max.
1 1/3.
Right, 1 1/3, 2 innings max, and you're thinking, I know I'm going to have at least one full-on game using all of them. You ultimately end up having to make that sacrifice. It takes a certain amount of stones to do that. And Roberts had him.
He did, and because of those types of things, he also went to guys that you would not expect him to use. He used Ben Casparius when he normally wouldn't. He used Edgardo Henriquez when you normally didn't have to. They tried to let Honeywell. Honeywell was amazing in Game 5 and actually made it so you can get to Game 6. Yeah. Those are all decisions that Dave Roberts made. So that's why when you say like you don't deserve him, all those types of things that you want to go through your narrative. The fact is,
you guys created the narrative. I'm just the person.
You're going to the far end just because if you think about it from the very beginning, what would have happened? Let's say the Dodgers lose in the DS to the Padres. They lose in 4 games. Dave Roberts would have been fired. That's just reality. That doesn't mean that he should be because of this. What is happening? We talked about it. You cannot lose 3 times in a row to division opponents in the division round. It's just not acceptable in Los Angeles. Period. End of story.
Yeah, but then once that happened, it was, okay, you satisfied with just a series? We're the Dodgers. We play for the World Series. The Dodgers had not been to the World Series
since 2020.
For almost 30 years. Between 1988 and 2017, the Dodgers, this organization that supposedly only plays for championships, had never been to the World Series until what happened in 2017? Who was managing the club? Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts has been their ticket to the World Series, and a bunch of ingrates at this station.
You're going so far and above what you need to do right now.
Around the city. Talk about narratives. You guys had created a narrative that the Dodgers only play for championships when Dave Roberts was the only man giving the opportunity. I covered the team when Joe Torre was the manager. Great Joe Torre, legendary. You know what he never did? Took him to the World Series. Never.
No, of course not. He didn't, and neither did Don Mattingly, and Dave Roberts did. And now,
did not
at the end
Brady
of all this,
to take him.
like I'm not. This is definitely not what I want to do today. I do not want to have a Dave Roberts discussion for the entire 2 minutes. All right, get it all out of your system because no matter what, how he has done, he is now at the end of the day, he is taking the Dodgers to 4 World Series in 8 years. He has won as many games as he possibly could in the regular season. What he has done has been fantastic. He's not going anywhere. He is the Dodgers manager for the foreseeable future. He basically has a lifetime contract at this point because of what he has done. Now, again, if they would have lost to the Padres, he would have gone because that was unacceptable here in LA. The same that we had 880 New York on with like Michael Kay and Rosenberg and LaGreca and with Mason Ireland yesterday, and they said the exact same thing is happening in New York with Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone has the second best winning percentage in baseball behind Dave Roberts as a manager, and his head is on a stick at all the times as well. The fact is you have to win. You have to get to the World Series. You have to win the World Series.
Well, they are in the position to do that right now.
Yes, they are.
It is actually, when you think about it, though, pretty amazing that this team that everybody talked about entering the season when it was beginning, this team with this incredible payroll, they're absolutely stacked. Like, they're going to be the 800-pound gorilla in baseball. They're in the World Series, but not the way anybody expected. Like, the amount of people that, forget that they were missing in the regular season, that they're currently missing. Like, it's still a really impressive team, but it's not the impressive team that everybody hyped and said, well, of course they're going to be in the World Series. This was actually a team you could not take for granted to be there.
No, it was, especially how to finish the end of the year where they were having trouble with the Padres. Padres are right on their butts. So let's get into a little bit of all of that. And are we done with the Dave Roberts speculation from now on? For now,
I'm not speculating anything.
You went full force on the Dave.
Let's do one more segment on it. Not just
no more Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts is the manager of the Dodgers. Will be for the foreseeable future.
This is not me.
No one's upset about that anymore.
This is not me speculating about his job security. This is just me reminding you and Jorge and everybody listening that a lot of people out there don't deserve the man who's not going anywhere.
He is not going anywhere, and he doesn't deserve to go anywhere. He has been fantastic in this postseason. He's been fantastic. There's nothing more to say. Let's get into a little more about the actual baseball and what it's going to look like with Flaherty versus Cole. We'll do that coming up next. Andy Kamenetzky, Greg Bergman, all next.
Set for Game 1 of the World Series tonight. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Powered by LAX. Book now at parking.flylax.com.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. At Los Angeles International Airport, changes are arriving daily to help reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the travel experience. The LAX Economy parking structure is now open with thousands of smart parking spaces, as well as hundreds of EV charging stations. Modernized terminals have biometric gates for faster boarding, and in the future, the People Mover train will connect travelers to LA Metro. For more information, go to their website, flylax.com/transforminglax. That's flylax.com/transforminglax.
If the car in your garage is not the car of your dreams, let's talk. Hi, I'm Garth Blumenthal, Unstoppable Automotive Group. Representing Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Polestar, Volvo, Jaguar, and Land Rover, we are doing everything in our power to make your car buying experience the best it can be. And with lower interest rates and higher inventories, you are now firmly in the driver's seat. To find the dealership near you, visit unstoppablegroup.com for details.
Unstoppable Automotive Group, building relationships one guest at a time.
We ask Californians why they don't vote, and the number one reason, they feel their vote doesn't count. But nothing could be further from the truth. Your vote isn't just a piece of paper, it's a powerful tool that shapes the world around you, and in turn, your health. Your health is way more than just diet and exercise. It's the air you breathe, the food, green spaces, and jobs available in your neighborhood, and your access to quality health care. You have a say in all of this. When you cast your ballot, you're voting for cleaner air, better access to nutritious food, more green spaces, good jobs and reduced stress, quality schools, and healthcare that's accessible and affordable for all. Your elected officials determine funding, pass laws, and shape policies that influence your health and the health of your entire community. The voting period has already begun and ends November 5th. For more information on how your vote impacts your health, visit myvotemyhealth.org.
FX's English teacher.
Every single one of these essays is so bad.
An F? What is this?
With grades like this, I'm gonna have to hit the corner, sir.
From executive producers of What We Do in the Shadows.
Who's running the school? Is it us or is it them?
Them.
Go sit next to Tiffany.
She told me it was offensive to learn Mandarin, because you're not Japanese.
FX's English teacher is now streaming on Hulu. All new Mondays on FX.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check the kickoff time first, before showing up at the stadium.
What? The slot's full already? Final score of today's game? You said kickoff was at 3. It was last week.
That's not how it works, Bob. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Great game. You got into the end zone again and again. How'd it feel?
Awesome. Like getting a new iPhone again and again. I just got the new iPhone 16 Pro today.
Really?
Yeah, and with AT&T Next Up Anytime, I can upgrade early every year.
Very nice.
Feel like an MVP again. Learn how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us and the latest iPhone every year with AT&T Next Up Anytime. AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Offer subject to change. Additional fees, terms, and restrictions apply. $0 offer may not be available on future iPhones. Next Up Anytime feature may be discontinued at any time. See att.com/iPhone for details.
If it's hot, it's here. The best new stuff is at GNC. GNC brings you some of the best new products first from brands like Optimum Nutrition, Ghost, Bloom, and more. GNC has the newest breakthroughs in muscle building, weight loss, and wellness, and the best energy drink flavors. If you heard about it at the gym, you can bet that conversation started at GNC. Ask a coach about the newest drops at your GNC store or shop our full collection online at gnc.com today. If it's hot, it's here. GNC.
We are getting you ready for Game 1 of the World Series tonight at Chavez Ravine Dodgers-Yankees with live and local LA sports talk. This is the Blue Review Morning Show with Greg Bergman and Andy Kamenetzky. Brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. We continue on 7:10 a.m., the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. Once again, Bergman and Andy.
So you're up at dawn, kid, look alive.
Jorge. Is this how we want to start the day?
Hey, look, I'm just trying to inject some fun into this, man. We had fun about this yesterday in our text thread, right? Like, what does this guy sing? This is the only song we can think of.
I don't know Brad Paisley from any other country artist at all.
Yeah, Arash Markazi tweeted out that among the things we can look forward to tonight in Game 1, the ceremonial first pitch is going to be Oral, Travis's best friend, and Steve Yeager. And
pretty cool.
It's time for Dodger baseball is going to be announced by massive Dodger fan and friend of the show, a friend of the station, Brian Cranston.
Voice of the Mandy's.
That's right.
Voice of the Mandy's. The pregame ceremonies very predictably is going to honor Fernando Valenzuela. We're going to talk about, I know, over the course of the show, the idea that the team will be outwardly motivated playing for him. But national anthem for Game 1 is going to be sung by country artist Brad Paisley. What?
So, from what I know about Brad Paisley, I'm pretty sure before the season started, I remember a story going on with that Brad Paisley helped get Tyler Glasnow to the Dodgers. So it's just a massive fan. He knows Dave Roberts pretty well. He's a massive Dodger fan. That's for sure.
Okay.
Oh, he's a huge
Brad
Dodger
Paisley,
fan.
okay.
Yeah, he is.
Starting to make a little more sense to me because I was trying to find a connection. Not a joke. He is from Glendale, West Virginia.
Right. He's a big-time Dodger fan.
That makes a little more sense now because I was like, you can't find a single L.A. artist to do the anthem?
Yeah, there was a whole story about how Dave Roberts and Andrew Freeman were in their barn or something like that, and Glasnow came. There was a whole thing about how this all worked out. I don't remember exactly the exact story. It was in the Athletic before the season started, but either way, yeah. But I don't care. I don't know anything whatsoever about country music. I am awful when it comes to it. Well, I don't go to Stagecoach or any of that kind of stuff.
I was not kidding. Like in our text there, I said the only song I know of Brad Paisley's is when he does the Nationwide theme. Like I think he did a commercial years ago with Peyton Manning for Nationwide, where he's teaching Peyton how to sing it.
That's what that was.
Yes.
Wasn't that play it again?
Playing the guitar.
It's gone now. Okay, don't worry about it.
But it makes a little more sense now.
Yeah,
now
at least it's the anthem. If you're gonna get somebody, at least you can get a star that people know that it's.
Oh, sure. Again, I wanted some type of connection, like make it make sense. Country singer Brad Paisley.
Could have been worse. It could have been Fergie.
Well, Fergie's busy. Black Eyed Peas are going to be at SoFi for halftime. Yeah,
I was in the building when Fergie did that anthem.
That was
truly bizarre.
Yeah. Do you look back on it now and say that was not as bad as we thought, or it was just as bad as we thought it was?
It was just as bad as we remember, and even weirder. I don't think we pay enough attention to just how, everybody in the building was like, "What? I don't know what I'm supposed to do here." Are we supposed to laugh? Is this?
People started. Wasn't Draymond was in there? He was covering his face, and everybody.
It was very difficult to get through that thing because it was. With Roseanne, remember when Roseanne did that awful anthem?
That's just kind of Roseanne.
Right. Roseanne was very clearly doing a thing, whether you liked it or not. This was Roseanne trying to be provocative. Fergie was trying to sing a good anthem. And that's what made it even more awkward and weird.
Well, she just wanted to make it her own anthem, which that never really works out. It's very few times that those actually work out when you're trying to make it something your own. But either way, yeah.
Fergie is no Jimi Hendrix.
No Jimi Hendrix. Just on the guitar. That's all you need sometimes.
Yeah.
That's all you need sometimes. All right, but you said before we came in here that this is not the typical Dodger team that we all thought it was. So try and explain that to me because I would like to hear your thoughts on that.
We entered the season with all the talk about this being just the most top to bottom stacked roster, the $1 billion payroll, all of that different stuff. And obviously, this is still a talented team, and it's still an expensive payroll. And, ESPN did a rankings of all the players expected to be on the active rosters for both teams.
The roster.
How would you rank them? And the Dodgers have 3 of the top 5. They have 6 of the top 10.
As they should.
Right. I mean, it's a really good team, but you're missing guys that they expected to have. You expected Tyler Glasnow to be one of your aces. He's not available. You expected Freddie Freeman to be one of your dominant stars. We don't know how good he's going to be. Miguel Rojas, I'm guessing, will not be a factor at all. He's not a name, but he matters on this team. There's a lot more injuries. There's a lot more uncertainty that the Dodgers have had to deal with really from the beginning of the season all the way to where we are now in the first couple rounds of the playoffs. It has not been a dominant walkover, 800-pound gorilla performance that I think a lot of people expected from the Dodgers heading into this season compared to where we are now.
So I agree for the most part. However, of the names that you're talking about, the only name from the beginning of the season that's actually missing is Tyler Glasnow. Glasnow, obviously a huge piece, as worth a lot of money, but he is the only piece that is actually missing from this pitching staff. For the most part, you have Clayton Kershaw obviously is a name, but also he was not supposed to be a big name into this rotation. He was supposed to be a number 4 or 5 starter. And if you ask most people if they think of Clayton Kershaw in the postseason, it's not lovingly. It's the other way, that most people think like, oh, we do not want to see him in the post. So Glasnow is the big name that we're missing. Besides that, you have the Shohei, Mookie, Freddie, Teoscar, and then you bring in Edman. That's a huge pickup for them.
He's a huge pickup, but he's not a huge name, though.
No,
There's
not a huge name. He was just the NLCS MVP, but he was not supposed to be. Granted, he was off the scrap heap, basically.
Anybody who decided to go for a deep cut and bet on Tommy Edman to be the NLCS,
absolutely not.
That was a big payout.
Nobody.
But you look down the roster, though, like a guy like Dustin May was expected to be part of the postseason.
He was injured. He was coming off a second Tommy John. Probably wasn't expecting too much from him.
But I remember when we talked about it, him, Bobby Miller, like there were guys who were expected to just be not even as names, but just you have all of these different weapons. Like even Walker Buehler, who's been reasonably good.
He's been great.
He's not, though, the Walker Buehler that made the name for himself.
Different and actually maybe even slightly better because he's not just trying to blow fastballs by people. But my point is that, and I've hear this narrative going for a long, long time, is just that the actual 1 through 9 in the lineup, basically what you were expecting. From all the way from top to bottom, and actually got better as the season went on. And then you also, the rotation, yes, thin in the rotation, 100% can't be denied. But if you're going with Flaherty, who you went out and got, and that really helped out, Yamamoto's back and pitched sometimes well, sometimes not, but you're hoping for good things from him. And Walker Buehler does look good. The bullpen has been the biggest strength of this entire team. I just think that, yes, the Yankees have a better rotation probably, but I heard that about the Padres too. The Padres had the better rotation, and now the Dodgers still get through because of what they have.
What I'm saying though, and I just hope that they get the credit for it. I think this team has had to scrap more than you might have expected heading into the year, because everybody assumed they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to win the NL West. It's what they do. They had to scrap more during the season, and I think they actually had to scrap more during the playoffs than people might have predicted would happen. I'm not saying, there are slight favorites. I think the general consensus for this series, I think that's appropriate. I'm not saying that they are massive underdogs. You can, if you're a Dodger fan, you can have reasonable expectations of them winning the series. I just think they should get credit for having to fight their way through it as opposed to just cruise and dominate.
Oh, absolutely. But let's look at how that actually happened, though. You lost Mookie for basically 2 months with his injury, so that meant that you had to rely more on guys like Shohei and Freddie, and obviously Shohei did what he did. But then you lost Max Muncy for a long stretch of time too. So some of the main guys you didn't
guys have Yamamoto
like
for a lot of the year.
You lost Glasnow. You lost a lot of players. So the fact of the matter is, Shohei led this team to the postseason and did it basically on his back, something that he couldn't do in Anaheim based around the other players that were around him. But the fact is, no matter what, they were still able to get through all that with what they had, and I think it was extremely impressive for what you're saying. But no matter what, they had a ton of injuries, and I still think this team, top to bottom, is basically the same team that we were expecting, and we're just getting them all back right now in the exact right time. And they're showing it in this postseason so far. They're hitting the hell out of the ball right now. And it's nonstop. It's top to bottom, especially in that bottom of the line.
Well, that's the thing about this team, though. When it gets going, it really gets going. Like the floodgates open when this team is rolling. When they do get those type of performances, they absolutely destroy you. Like, I don't think that they have cruised through these playoffs, but the times where they have won games, they've really won games.
Once they can get your starting pitcher out, whether they hit him early or they just get him out later on, they get to your bullpen and just destroy. And that's what they're looking to do. But it's interesting because that's also what the Yankees want to do. Let's get into a little bit more of that. Let's dig into the pitching matchup, Flaherty versus Cole, because we haven't really done too much of that. But I also want to throw out the number. Tell us if you're going to the game today, what your series prediction is. What's your prediction for today's game? 877-710-3776, 877-710-ESPN. We'll do all of that. Andy Kamenetzky, Greg Bergman, that's coming up next.
getting you set for Game 1 of the World Series tonight. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
It's time to get ready, Los Angeles. Come to Dick's Sporting Goods to celebrate and get ready with new Dodgers championship gear. Shop our huge selection of Dodgers tees, hats, and hoodies for the whole family, and make sure everyone is ready for the final series. Select stores will be open late and early next day following a series clinch. Get to Dick's Sporting Goods now for the best selection, or shop online at Dicks.com. Every championship season starts at Dick's.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Join 710 ESPN and Children's Dental Fun Zone for a smile-worthy celebration on Sunday, October 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. as the doors open to Children's Dental Fun Zone in Colton. Kids can dress up in their favorite costume and visit the Trunk or Treat. Parents meet the doctors and staff and enjoy food, games, raffles, and giveaways. 1280 East Washington Street in the city of Colton. Visit their Instagram at CDF Zone or visit their website, cdfzone.com.
Coverage of the 2024 World Series on ESPN LA is driven by your SoCal Hyundai dealers. With next-level tech and safety features, Hyundai Cars and SUVs gives you the confidence to boldly journey wherever life takes you. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or see your SoCal Hyundai dealer today.
Clooney, Beyonce, maybe Elvis, a clown. Geez, deciding on a costume gets harder every year. And now the top reasons to visit Morongo.
Clay Cookware Gift Giveaway. Get a 4.7 quart terracotta pot when you earn 500 points on your rewards card, the 29th.
And the number one reason.
We're giving away a Maserati in the High Limit Slot Room this Sunday. Start earning entries the 24th, drawing at 8 p.m.
Morongo, good times.
We are getting you ready for Game 1 of the World Series tonight at Chavez Ravine Dodgers Yankees with live and local LA sports talk. This is the Blue Review Morning Show with Greg Bergman and Andy Kamenetzky, powered by LAX. Planning a trip out of LAX? Make parking a breeze by pre-booking with LAX official parking. Save up to 60% off drive-up rates and skip having to search for a spot. And check this out. Now until November 2nd, when you pre-book, you're automatically entered for a chance to win $10,000 to create your ultimate LA game day. Pick your favorite LA team, choose a home game, anything through 2025, and let a concierge craft a one-of-a-kind experience just for you. Book now and enter to win at parking.flylax.com. That's parking.flylax.com. Let's do it. We continue on 710 a.m., the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. Once again, Bergman and Andy.
I got a feeling.
So this is Black Eyed Peas, obviously, Andy. And I just was told by Juan on Twitter that Fergie is no longer on the Black Eyed Peas. Who knew? Why would I know? Why would I know that?
She got canned after the national anthem.
That's it.
Like, we
You're
don't
done.
want you.
You're out.
You know what?
I don't.
Good. Good, because if you are actually familiar at all with the Black Eyed Peas and like their actual beginning as a group, they were a rap group that was pretty good. Then they brought in Fergie, changed their whole sound.
It's this sound.
Yeah.
Is more mainstream.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you want. If you want to get big, you want to have this mainstream
They were way better
sound.
without Fergie. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But they probably made a lot more money with Fergie in.
But you know what? They've gotten everything out of Fergie that they need.
Right. And they said, okay,
they're
we're
ready.
We're good. You can
they're
go
ready
do
to
your
return
thing.
to their roots.
But either way, yeah. So that was interesting for me. I had no idea that Fergie was no longer. I wonder what she's doing nowadays.
Probably not singing the anthem.
That's not going to be something that she does. But Brad Paisley is, so we found that out for today.
Big Dodger fan. My apologies to Brad Paisley.
Massive,
I did not know that.
Massive Dodger fan. All right, let's get into a little bit about this series, though, because I am extremely excited about this. There's a few things, though. It's Garrett Cole tonight in Game 1 versus Jack Flaherty. I'm a little bit worried about Jack Flaherty. You're really going to be telling who he is right from the very beginning. If he comes out, he throws that four-seam fastball, and it's at 91, 92 miles per hour, the Dodgers are in trouble. Jack Flaherty is in trouble, and he may not go long into the game. If he comes out and he throws 94, 95, well, then and he gets that first pitch strike, then you kind of just look at it like, okay, maybe he's going to get ahead of these hitters. Maybe he's going to do pretty well. But if he has that velocity down, if you're throwing 91 four-seam fastball at this team, you're going to get smacked around.
I mean, his last start was a disaster. Dave Roberts said afterwards that Flaherty was not feeling well, that he was sick. Hopefully that's really what was going on, that Flaherty was just under the weather. He had to go out there, and he got beaten up in the process. And, if he was feeling bad, he's had a long time to physically recover, so that should not be an issue anymore. In his 3 starts in the playoffs, first one was bad, second one was great, third one was bad. If the pattern holds,
I love the pattern.
We got great.
The
great
pattern
coming
is
up.
full. Right.
This is also, though, and I don't know exactly how he will react to this, but I think it is something that's going to be there for Flaherty and something to watch for. He's a SoCal kid. So the idea of pitching in the World Series for the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium to kick off a series, that's got to be just an emotional wave for him. How he rides that wave, again, can go in either direction. It could be something that overwhelms him. It could be something that fuels him. But I guarantee that is going to be some type of factor for Flaherty, because it's going to be taken back to when he's like 7 years old, rooting for the Dodgers as a kid, or going to the stadium, imagining himself playing in one of these games.
Yeah, so what he's done, his mom is going to be there. There was a great moment after his 7 innings that he had against the Mets that he was hugging his mom, and it was a really beautiful moment. This is something that he's been dreaming of his entire life. Now, I do hope that Dave Roberts is being honest and that he was sick and that he was just under the weather, and that's why the velocity was so far down. However, I want to see what it actually looks like when it comes to this game, because if he is low, that means that he's not going to be better into that 5th game, because he's going to pitch in Game 1 and Game 5 is the idea behind it. So if he pitches Game 1 and Game 5, I don't expect Game 5 to be good as well if he's bad in Game 1. He is someone specifically that he will ride on his emotions, and if he comes out and looking like he did it in that first game against the Mets, it's going to be great. I think he can be that guy again and throwing that 93, 94 mile per hour fastball.
What's interesting, though, too, is that same emotional factor that I was just talking about with Flaherty applies to Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
Also a SoCal kid, also likely grew up imagining himself probably playing for the Dodgers, playing in that stadium for big stakes. He's coming home as well. I imagine there is some type of, all these guys are going to be emotional. It's the World Series. But, there are always different layers and details to this sort of stuff. And having this type of showdown between 2 SoCal kids facing each other, Game 1 starters, again, something just to keep your eye on.
Yeah, no, it's always nice to see like the hometown kids come in there. There's a lot of weird things going on too, where you have Dave Roberts at UCLA, Aaron Boone at USC. They hated each other when they were in college together. The whole kind of the stuff. There is that local flavor that's going down. I think Jack Flaherty, though, it's going to be very, very telling. I'm a little bit worried about it because they've been talking about it on. Even Mark Pryor was talking about it before the game. He said, let me just find the exact quote here, but he said yesterday, he said, obviously everybody knows the more velocity, the better usually, unless you're going way below hitting speeds. Concern, yeah, because obviously he was pitching on regular rest and it was a little bit down. Can he pitch with it? Yeah, I feel pretty confident that he can get back to where he was the other time. The idea that he's moderately concerned, that your pitching coach is moderately concerned about you, that's not a positive in my mind.
Well, he's had more, though, than regular rest at this point. Like, he is plenty rested up. Like, it shouldn't be a factor. The problem,
But if you're down, you're down.
I was going to say, here's where it ends up in the back of your mind the whole time. Flaherty is a guy that you always worry about getting worn down. Like, he's had those issues in the past. He's had issues with arm strength, keeping it up during the season. He's somebody who's had injury concerns. Like, not that I think he's on the verge of getting injured. I'm just saying the overall strength of his arm as a season goes along. He's not somebody, at least that I think of as like that type of power pitcher that you can just keep throwing out there and he's going to be fine. That's not who he is.
No, he's not. And the fact, but he is also a guy that has a ridiculously good knuckle curveball. And so when he's going to try and throw pitches that are going to keep them off balance and outside the strike zone. And the Yankees are very, very similar to the Dodgers, that they do not want to swing out of pitches outside the strike zone. So if he's not landing those first pitch strikes, there's not landing his fastball, his velocity is down. He can't get by some of these hitters, especially guys like Soto and Judge and Stanton, who's been on fire.
Judge has never faced Flaherty.
Yeah. He probably hasn't faced a lot of these guys. He's on the Yankees, so they've only faced them once a year just since last year. Before
or even
that,
like other interleague matchups or whatever. Like I don't think Judge has ever gone up against Flaherty before. I think the only of the Dodgers starters that he's ever seen at all, oddly enough, because it's rookie, is Yamamoto.
Yeah, because Yamamoto pitched in Yankee Stadium this year.
I'll double check this, but I think Aaron Judge has never faced Flaherty or Buehler in his entire career.
It's very possible because, again, even though there is interleague, the fact is that Yankees didn't play the Dodgers every year. It wasn't a thing. They just started making it so that you play every single team every single year, just depend on home or away. So Judge being on the Yankees, they just never played the Dodgers.
Just got a text from. I don't want to say his name on air, but he is a P1. He listens all the time. Probably you guys have met him before. Your blasphemy today against the musical god known as Brad Paisley has been noted in your record with the good people of Nashville and the Inland Empire. Watch your back, buddy.
Brad Paisley's got fans, man.
Yes, he does.
He does. All right, we got a phone call here. We'll take a phone call here, and then we'll come back and we'll take a couple more phone calls. We got Justin in Studio City. What's going on, Justin?
Hey, shout out to my fellow Harvard Westlake Wolverine. He was 4 years younger than me. I managed to get a ticket for the field level, a little more than 2K last night.
Wow.
Excited to be going.
Good for you.
I think it will probably end in 6, but I wouldn't mind if it ends in 5 because that would save me from spending 10K on Game 6.
I get it.
I'm definitely going.
Well, hit up some of your fellow Harvard Westlake alums. They got the money.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, well, enjoy the game. I'm going to be there as well, but I'm going to be in a very, very different place than you, sir. You're all the way been spending that much money. I'm in the far left field foul pole loge section. Thank you very much, Justin.
For those unfamiliar, the Harvard Westlake tuition is insane.
Yeah, it's not easy to get into that
That
place.
fool said, yeah, we do got the money.
You can see for a second, he's like, oh, well, no.
It's true. It's true, yeah. So they got plenty of cash around there. All right, but we haven't gotten into any bit of Shohei yet. So let's get into a little bit of Shohei Ohtani and what this actually means for him, because what it's like for him to be on the big stage and what we're going to expect from him. We'll do a little bit of that coming up next. It's Andy Kamenetzky, Greg Bergman here.
The World Series tonight. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Powered by LAX. Book now at parking.flylax.com.
Hey guys, it's Sedano at Los Angeles International Airport. Changes are arriving daily to help reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the travel experience. The LAX Economy parking structure is now open with thousands of smart parking spaces, as well as hundreds of EV charging stations. Modernized terminals have biometric gates for faster boarding, and in the future, the People Mover train will connect travelers to LA Metro. For more information, go to their website, flylax.com/transforminglax. That's flylax.com/transforminglax.
This is the Doctor in the Dugout with Dr. Alan Beyer, presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute.
I'm often asked about people who suffer their first back injury, think they've pulled a muscle in their back, and they don't stretch enough as far as their back is concerned. So when do you seek care from a doctor when you've sustained a back injury? At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, we like to tell people that the most important thing is to watch and see if that back pain is radiating down your leg, causing any numbness, causing any weakness, or any bowel or bladder dysfunction. These are surgical problems usually and require a more urgent visit to the emergency room rather than waiting to see the doctor. If none of these signs are present, it's safe to wait it out, rest for a few days, and seek medical care from your doctor within a week or so. Hope that helps. Keep stretching your back. If that doesn't get better in a week or 10 days, that's when it's time to seek the orthopedic specialist. Hope this keeps you on the field, and keep listening. We'll be back soon.
Keep listening for more on the road to recovery right here on 710 ESPN.
Good morning. You're starting your day with the new ESPN Radio Morning Show, Unsportsmanlike, with me, Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman. And this is the Normand Legal 7 a.m. hour on 710. Let Joe and his trusted team get you what you deserve. Visit normandlegal.com or call 1-800-550-9816. That's 1-800-550-9816.
It's SUV month at Kia of Carson, and you can get sweet deals on the last of the 24 Tellurides and win a sweet night experience for you and 3 guests for just a test drive. Compliments of Kia of Carson and ESPN LA. We have great deals on our hybrids and plug-ins, as well as our all-electric models. So whether you decide to go with the Nero hybrid with an EPA estimated 53 mpg in the city or a rugged Telluride, we have the car and the deal for you all month at Kia of Carson. Visit KiaofCarson.com, or better yet, come test drive a new Kia for a chance to win a sweet experience.
John Ireland here, looking for the perfect smile. You gotta meet Dr. Monica Madden at Beverly Hills Orthodontics, your go-to orthodontist right here in LA. Check them out at BeverlyHillsOrtho.com or call 877-7-LET'S-DO-THIS. With locations in Beverly Hills, Studio City, Alhambra, and downtown LA, luxury orthodontic treatment is convenient no matter where you are. Your smile is in expert hands at BeverlyHillsOrtho.com. 877-7-LET'S-DO-THIS. That's 877-753-8736.
We are getting you ready for Game 1 of the World Series tonight at Chavez Ravine Dodgers-Yankees with live and local LA sports talk. This is the Blue Review Morning Show with Greg Bergman and Andy Kamenetzky. Brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. We continue on 7:10 a.m., the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. Once again, Bergman and Andy.
How about a little test drive down by the lake?
Is this the man, the myth, the legend? This is Brad Paisley.
Yes, it is. This is called Truck Still Works.
That's the name of the song?
That is the name of the song.
The most
yes.
country music title of a song I can never think
And then the cover for this album is basically a truck in the garage with the hood open and the guitar holding the hood.
Is he holding a beer?
No, it's just a truck. It's just a truck.
Okay.
I love that it's not.
But I get what you're saying.
Is it a dog on the porch?
Nah,
in the back
maybe
of
the next picture has a dog.
I love that it's not the truck still works, just truck still works.
Yeah,
truck still works.
The would have ruined the whole thing. Also, a lot of people in the Blue Review YouTube community section pointing out Brad Paisley, for real, massive Dodger fan. Like, no, really awesome choice.
You don't deserve Brad Paisley.
I don't deserve Brad
You don't deserve him.
I don't deserve
You don't
Are you
deserve him.
tired of not deserving Brad Paisley? Are you tired?
I don't deserve Brad Paisley. You're correct. You are correct to call me out. I don't deserve
Look,
Brad Paisley.
I don't know anything about Brad Paisley. I did not know this was Brad Paisley
I know
unless
nothing about the guy at all.
What can we find out? What would be his most famous song? Is that something that could really help us
Hey,
figure
Twitter,
that out?
hit us up.
Twitter, help me
Nationwide.
out. Who is Brad besides Nationwide? What Brad Paisley's most famous song is? Because I would be really wanting to know. So a couple things I want to get to, and Shohei was one of them. And I think before I get to Shohei, though, I do want to talk about the idea of Fernando Valenzuela and what his passing means to this team. Obviously, what it means to the city, what it means to the Dodgers, what it means to everything. We've talked about it over the last few days, that it was extremely saddening to hear the passing of Fernando Valenzuela and what it means around here. But do you believe, Andy, in the idea that winning for X is something that actually works, and because of how close it happened to the World Series, does that play a factor into it?
Yeah, I think it can be. I absolutely believe in that concept. Like, it's not something that is guaranteed to be a galvanizing force every single time out. But, like, as an example, the 2020 Lakers that won the bubble championship, they were very outwardly, openly playing for Kobe. You know, Kobe had died maybe, 7-8 months before those playoffs began. Like, it was a weird playoffs. They began later than normal. But, that was something that was still looming large over the organization. I mean, Kobe was a massive force while he played for the organization, but also afterwards. Like, his presence still mattered. His presence was huge around the city. And also, too, on top of everything going on with the pandemic and unrest and stuff like that, like, I think that was something that the players channeled and
really latched onto.
They latched onto. I think it was something that helped keep them focused in the bubble because they all hated being there. I don't know if it's going to be exactly the same force for these Dodgers just because guys like LeBron and Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, they were peers of Kobe's. They were his contemporaries, and they had more of a direct connection. But that being said, though, Fernando was around the organization all the time.
All the time.
These guys
in the booth.
Yeah,
all the time.
I'm sure a lot of these guys had, at minimum, cordial relationships with him. I'm sure they would talk to him before games. And Fernando was as beloved an athlete in LA, honestly, as any athlete I think there's ever played for this city. He is as genuinely loved. I have never met anybody in my life who follows sports in LA that didn't like Fernando.
No, absolutely. Ever. Because of everything you did here. Jorge, I know you for sure have felt a huge feeling towards Fernando.
Yeah, especially in the family. Growing up, Fernando was the one my grandpa looked up to, the one my mom knew about, the one that he was the first Dodger we ever knew about. At least me, growing up. And then when I got to meet him, thanks to Beto and Mason and Funchy, and I got to meet him, it was one of those where, I shake your hand and just man,
this is my idol. This is who.
This is my grandfather's idol. I told the story to my grandfather, and when he passed away, when Fernando passed away, I called my grandfather, and he said, "Hey, man, my idol passed away." So it was one of those things where he was touched, and then the whole country was touched. I touched bases with them over there in Mexico, and then they're like, "Yeah, all of Mexico is mourning right now. They lost one of their heroes. Out of the three, the big three is Julio Cesar Chavez, is Hugo Sanchez, soccer player, and Fernando, and then they lost one of the top three."
Yeah, and that's going to be something that it's going to be felt. Maybe it doesn't really be felt in the locker room, in the clubhouse. I think it does to a very large extent, but it's mostly going to be felt throughout the Chavez Ravine. That's where it's going to be really felt. The fans feeding into the Fernando.
Absolutely. I mean, Fernando is going to be honored before Game 1.
Yep, as he should, and Game 2, and Game 3, and Game 4, and Game 5.
But I think in particular, they're going to be doing a ceremony before tonight's game. Again, very appropriately, predictably, in a good way. And they're going to be wearing, I believe, patches.
The patches, 34 patch. Yep.
And again, I do think this is something that can be galvanizing for this team. I don't know if it would be as emotionally resonant for them as the 2020 Lakers, just because, again, Kobe was, for most of these guys, their direct peer, and his passing was so unexpected. Fernando, unfortunately, I think a lot of us were bracing for something.
Yeah, for the last month.
Right,
yeah.
Just because he left the booth so unexpectedly, and we had heard nothing about it since.
Yeah, and
no update.
So the thing with Kobe, too, this is the only where it's... For Fernando, it's just the Dodgers. I mean, I'm sure there's people on the Yankees that felt for, Alex Verdugo could be somebody that is thinking about Fernando.
Garrett Cole
probably from being from LA. Sure, there's a bunch of people, Yankees from LA, that will feel for it, but it's just a Dodger thing mostly. Whereas Kobe, the only thing that I could say that it's a little bit different, he touched everybody.
Yeah.
So during that 2020 series, there was a lot of guys in the bubble that were saying, we want to win it for Kobe, if they were on different teams, like Lou Williams and guys on the Clippers and on the Celtics and every other team.
For Kobe,
yeah, everybody in the league was doing it for Kobe because of that. It wasn't just a Laker thing. This feels more like just a Dodger thing.
Well,
so you can get that galvanizing factor for just the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, look, in some ways it's hard to know because Fernando didn't pass away until there were only 2 teams left.
Sure.
So you don't know exactly how the rest of the league. And also, Fernando is generations disconnected in terms of his time as a player to the modern player, as opposed to, again, when Kobe died, 3/4 or more of the league had played against him, or at the very least, entered the league when he was coming out. They grew up directly idolizing him,
and watching him, Mamba mentality,
right? All of the Dodgers, all of the current players, even someone like Kershaw, who's he's not playing, but he's probably the oldest guy on this team. Fernando is generations removed from them. His heyday, I was 7 years old, 7 or 8. But Fernando Mania happened.
He retired in 93.
97.
97? Oh, yeah.
But Fernando Mania, when it first hit, I was not even double-digit age. So that just gets to a certain amount of disconnect. Sure. But I really do think that Fernando's passing, and that is something to rally around, win this thing for Fernando. I do think that's real.
Yeah, so I really hope it is, because it is important. So in 2022, when Vin Scully passed away, that was it's the same type of thing. It was extremely sad. That one touched me more than very many of the losses that we've had in the last few years. But the fact was, it didn't end up working. So that's why the question was, do you feel like this is something that can work? I think this one specifically, where Fernando and what he means to this city and what he means just for the community, just in at large, I think it makes a bigger deal as well, and how close it's happening to the actual series.
We're less than a week from it. I do think it's something that can rally the Dodgers. I really do.
Yeah, and it probably will. And that's, again, still a very, very sad thing, and still hurting everybody in Los Angeles. Still hurting. I did want to talk a little bit about Shohei Ohtani and what Shohei means, what this means to him. So Shohei was 6 years in Anaheim and did absolutely nothing. Doesn't even make the postseason. Comes to the Dodgers in the first year.
Well, let's be clear. He did plenty.
The
plenty. Angels did nothing.
Yes, and Mike Trout was hurt all the time, and so you never had that best player, second best player situation. But they never made it to the postseason. He gets to the Dodgers, makes it to the World Series in the very first time. I can't imagine he doesn't have a just massive, massive series.
Well, you could feel how much just the concept of, forget even the World Series, just the concept of the playoffs meant to Ohtani, because in the last month of the regular season, he was growing super animated. Like, he's a pretty reserved guy. He was very, very animated, and I think there was an urgency that the rest of the team was picking up on, because Ohtani's like, I am not bleeping around, man. Like, you guys may take this for granted. Some of you guys who have either been on the Dodgers for a while or have been on other teams that actually do something. I am not taking this for granted, because I know what it's like to be a superstar and be done every year in September.
Yeah, he was. And every time we've seen him in big moments that we saw him in the WBC, he was striking out Mike Trout to end the game and win the WBC for Japan. When he got to 40-40, he hit a walk-off grand slam. When he got to 50-50, he was having just the best game in the history of baseball, essentially. So every big moment that he's in, he tends to rise to that occasion. And I can't see if I had to pick an MVP right off the bat, I know this is just, it's kind of, it's so easy to just pick Shohei, but it just makes the most sense to me. Shohei, I can see really just going absolutely bananas in this series, stealing bases, hitting home runs, hitting with runners on scoring position, just consistently getting on base. I truly, truly believe he's going to have one of the best series ever.
Will he get the runners in scoring position, though? We've had
well, he has been. He's been getting them at the bottom of the lineup.
Sometimes, though, but then sometimes you got Kike clearing the bases.
Okay, well,
that's
sure.
what I'm saying.
Look,
like,
if
he
Kike
sometimes
clears
does not get the opportunity to do this because other guys are performing.
Right. Well, that's a good thing either way.
Oh, I'm not being critical.
That was my whole thing with that, with like starting pitchers. So when you get to the bottom of this lineup, knowing that Shohei is at the top of it, you kind of have, and we called it the pucker factor. Mm-hmm. You pucker up just a little bit, knowing that I gotta get these guys out at the bottom of the lineup, because if I don't, Shohei's going to come up and destroy me and make me pay for letting guys be on base for him. It's going to happen this way. I can just see it. I feel very, very confident about it too.
Well, I mean, we're coming off a series where your NLCS MVP was Tommy Edman.
Right.
And he
showed up Shohei.
Yeah, he's a proven playoff guy, like in the past, but I don't think many people predicted Tommy Edman would be, even if you liked the pickup at the deadline, I don't think many people were like, all right, you know what, couple months down the road, this is going to really pay off when Tommy Edman is NLCS MVP.
And it's not like Shohei had some bad series either.
No.
Mookie had some bad series. They had a great series against the Mets.
He just crushed it.
He did just crush it. He had 11 RBIs, and he did it in so many different ways. At the bottom of the lineup, and in the cleanup spot, at shortstop, at center field. He just did so many things, and in big spots that he absolutely deserved.
Well, that's actually where if I were to predict a World Series MVP right now, I would predict Mookie. And the reason is because he's coming off an incredible NLCS. Like it's actually one of statistically the best offensive series he's had in his entire playoff career, but also too because he plays in the field, I think he's going to have more opportunities to directly impact a game, meaning Ohtani is going to have to raise the level that much more offensively, because I think otherwise if you start because we all know voters love themselves narrative. They love themselves a story.
Sure do.
Ohtani, first time in the playoffs ever, World Series MVP. That's a juicy narrative.
Oh, it's a great narrative, and that's the one I really think is going to play out. But I love the Mookie Betts thought because they're going to walk Shohei plenty of times because they do not want him to beat him. And every time he gets on base, Mookie has been coming through recently. Yeah. So, all right, so 1 hour down. We got another hour to go. We're going to have Marcus Grant around 8:30 to talk about, to have the Blue Review all back together. But we have plenty of stuff to get into. It's a little more X factors, more on the pitching, more on the bullpens. We'll do all that in a little bit. Andy Kamenetzky, Greg Bergman, that's coming up next.
Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Hey guys, it's Cappy here, and let me talk to you about this issue of dealing with your homeowner's insurance. So your home floods, right? You have a big giant flood at your house, and you realize that the insurance adjuster is trying to pay you so little that you won't be able to repair the damage. That is when you call Avner Gatt. Avner Gatt is a public insurance adjuster who is on your side. Look, you can try and negotiate with the insurance company yourself. I've tried. You're going to find out very quickly it is not that simple. Avner Gatt and his team negotiate on your behalf to make sure you're getting the best possible outcome, not the insurance company. He and his team have been dealing with insurance companies for so many years. It's all they do. They've got the experience. They've got the industry know-how that you need on your side. Now, some of these folks used to work for insurance companies before they joined Avner's team, and Avner Gatt himself has 20 years of experience in this industry. Avner Gatt has one of the largest teams of professional, licensed public adjusters in California, and yes, the size is important. Avner has a unique winning recipe for handling homeowners' insurance claims. No one, and I mean no one, messes around with Avner Gatt and his team. Call Avner Gatt, 818-917-5256, 818-917-5256, or visit AvnerGatt.com. That's AVNERGAT, AvnerGatt.com. You call Avner Gatt, 818-917-5256. Avner takes the call himself. Hello!
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards golf lessons to become a scratch golfer. Progressive cannot guarantee that you will ever become a scratch golfer. Scratch golfers are really, really good. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, and sure, you could put that money towards lessons, but if you can't hit the broadside of a barn and think you're going to become a scratch golfer, you're delusional. Sorry, just telling it like it is. Savings? Maybe. Scratch golfer? Don't hold your breath. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. It's universally accepted that golf is hard. Progressive cannot guarantee improved performance on the course.
Score a win with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup options. Amazon Pickup is a convenient and secure way to collect your Amazon packages from locations that are near you. Choose an Amazon locker or counter. Whether you're hustling between home, work, or your usual game day spots, grab your packages on your schedule. Amazon Pickup is the worry-free option for the times when home delivery isn't ideal. To find your nearest Amazon Pickup location, go to amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
Take a sip of sunshine this season with Milagro Tequila. What's up, guys? It's D-Far. Milagro Tequila is made from 100% blue agave, crafted for bright flavor and exceptional smoothness. Enjoy the freshest margaritas with Milagro Silver, mix up some palomas with Reposado, or simply sip Milagro Añejo on the rocks. Milagro at your favorite retailer, in stores, and online. Welcome to the brighter side of tequila. Milagro Tequila. Must be 21 and over. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
710 ESPN.
KSPN, Los Angeles.
A good karma brands radio station.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Blue Review Morning Show as we get you ready, pumped, excited, overwhelmed for Game 1 of the World Series tonight at Chavez Ravine as the Dodgers and the Yankees battle. The road to Robert's redemption has hit the Fall Classic. Greg Bergman, Andy Kamenetzky get you set this morning until 9 a.m. with all your reaction. Live on 7:10 a.m. on the all-new ESPN LA app and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. The Blue Review Morning Show, made possible this morning by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. And powered by LAX. Planning a trip out of LAX? Make parking a breeze by pre-booking with LAX official parking. Save up to 60% off drive-up rates and skip having to search for a spot. And check this out. Now until November 2nd, when you pre-book, you're automatically entered for a chance to win $10,000 to create your ultimate LA game day. Pick your favorite LA team, choose a home game, anything through 2025, and let a concierge craft a one-of-a-kind experience just for you. Book now and enter to win at parking.flylax.com. That's parking.flylax.com. Let's do it.
It's time for the Blue Review. The Blue Review with Bergman and team.
The Blue Review Morning Show for a Friday. Right now on 710 ESPN. Here is Greg Bergman and Andy Kamenetzky.
Like another perfect game.
I love Andy. Every time I think about it, the more I think about this series, the more and more I feel better about it. We keep talking about all the different things. We talk about Garrett Cole. We talk about Jack Flaherty being down, his velocity being down. We talk about Shohei. There's other things that we have to get into, but every time I think about it right now, I just feel better. I don't think it's going to be an easy series, but I do think the Dodgers are going to win this series, and in 6 or less. I'm going to go with 6, but I think 6 or less.
They're considered right now consensus like a coin flip favorite. They're considered a slight favorite right now if you look at most consensus from the bettors, if you look at like ESPN's pundits, stuff like that. I think they're generally considered the slightly better team, the slightly bigger favorite to win the thing, but it won't be easy. But to your point about feeling good about it, they have not given you any reason right now to be skeptical. Maybe not overconfident, but not skeptical either.
No, the starting pitching is kind of a concern, but I think they showed in the last 2 series against the Padres, who was really the toughest out that I think they had. Getting past the Padres was huge. Again, against the Mets, they showed that it's not about their starting pitching so much. It's about their bullpen and about them just hitting in big spots that they can hit anybody.
Let me ask you that. Do you think that there's a limit to how many series, how many games that you can be more reliant on your pen than your starting rotation?
So I would say normally yes, but how they're using the pen, and this goes back to your whole Dave Roberts thing, the way he's using
You brought it up, not me.
The way that he's been using the bullpen just shows me that they can do it that way because they're not using the main guys. They're not using Kopech, Phillips, Treinen in multiple situations. They want to use them twice in a series, and they have only pretty much used them twice in each series. Might have used them 3 times against the Padres, but the fact is that didn't happen until like the 5th game that it happened. They only used Treinen 2 times in a 6-game series against the Mets. So how they're utilizing these guys, they're doing it the right way.
Well, to your point, and as far as the bullpen being that strength that you can rely on, unconventional way of getting these wins, they get aided by potentially getting back Vesia and Gratterall.
Huge.
Vesia seems, at least from what I've seen, the more definitive guy to be back. Like I think there's a good chance both could be, but it seems like from public comments they are expecting Vesia more than they are expecting Gratterall. But it does seem like both are on the table.
Yeah, if both are on the table, that's huge. And yes, Vesia probably is for no other reason than Vesia is another left-hander. Yeah. Now you have actually 2 lefties with Bonda and Vesia. So if Vesia can come back, he was at the top of the high leverage relievers. So was Gratterall. He didn't pitch very much this year, but when he did, he gives up very, very soft contact. He doesn't let the ball out of the yard for the most part, and he can strike guys out. It's a little bit on the lower side. He pitches the contact more than he does the strike out. But the fact is, he gets that soft contact, and it's when you're going up against a team like the Yankees that are just mashers, you need to have more high leverage arms. So getting rid of guys like Landon Knack and Edgardo Henriquez for Brzdar Graterol and Alex Vesia, that's a massive upgrade to your already good pen.
Well, especially, too, if the bullpen is going to be such a direct part of the strategy. Like, we are going to be using our pen more than we're going to be using our starting rotation, because at this point they have to. They have 3 starters at this point. Like, I'm not even saying that you can rely on. I mean, they have 3.
They have 3.
They
That's
can
it.
choose from. They got the option tree begins and ends at 3. That's it.
Right. So if you go Flaherty, Yamamoto, Buehler, bullpen Flaherty, Yamamoto, Buehler, which is the plan through the 7-game series, those guys, those first 3 guys, Flaherty, Yamamoto, Buehler, they have to give you some length. So you don't have to go into the high leverage pen for as much as possible.
Well, it's especially important tonight, too, because,
you need length.
What you do or what you're forced to do with the bullpen begins tonight. Like, the longer Flaherty can go, the more flexibility you have for game 2 if, say, you have to go to them early. And then if, say, Flaherty and Yamamoto both give you a lot of length, then you really start getting a lot of different options for game 3 if you need to go to them at all.
So what are you asking for from Flaherty? So do you want him to go 6 innings, 3 runs?
6 would be great.
That would be
Like
amazing.
6.
You can't ask for 6, though, right?
Well,
you can ask for it.
I can ask for whatever the hell I want.
But you can't expect it is a better way to put it. So what do you expect out of Flaherty today?
Expect 5.
Yeah.
Like, I'm expecting 5. You are the game 1 starter for the World Series. If you can't feel reasonable expecting 5, I'm not going to say I question why he's out there, because we already established they have 3 guys to choose from. Like,
right.
That's
that's a different conversation, though. I was almost expecting Buehler or expecting Yamamoto. I did not expect Flaherty in game 1.
You know what? To be totally honest, I hadn't given it any thought.
Yeah, it just made sense. Okay, you go with Flaherty game 1, Yamamoto 2, and Buehler 3. Buehler hasn't pitched in quite some time. I actually was almost expecting Buehler to be that guy, but also, like, thinking about it, having Buehler in game 7, I feel good. He's a big, big game picture. So if you need a game 7 starter,
I think that may be part. I mean, now that I'm actually thinking about this in real time, because when I saw that it was Flaherty, my reaction was, oh, that makes sense. And I didn't think about it any deeper. But when you start talking about Buehler being that big game pitcher, and he's established that, where's game 3? Yankee Stadium, first of the road games. Like, that may be where you purposely, intentionally want Buehler. Like, you feel like that guy's going to be good in this particular environment. Although, peeling it back a little bit further, Yamamoto was really good in Yankee Stadium.
He was amazing at Yankee Stadium. He went 7 innings, gave up 2 hits, threw 106 pitches, and just completely held them off. That was the best outing of Yoshinobu Yamamoto's season by far.
Yeah.
And then it all kind of went downhill because he got hurt a little bit after that. But the fact was, he went into Yankee Stadium and was fantastic. So that's why I also kind of thought, like, maybe they put him back into that situation because the adrenaline of being in a big spot really helped him. I don't know. But the fact is that if Flaherty, if he goes out there tonight, throws 5, 6, 7, wherever he gets to, that's going to really put you forward for the next couple games.
There's nothing. Here's what I would say, though. There's nothing that feels wrong about Flaherty for game 1.
No.
There's nothing that's like, wait, what? Why?
I think you can. The 3 are pretty much interchangeable. If whatever you went 1, 2, 3, it all would have worked out. I do like Buehler in that game 7 slot, though, and then somebody else being able to.
That feels extremely intentional on the Brain Trust's part. Like, the guys who come together and make this decision. The idea that Buehler would be game 7, I think it reflects a lot of how they just feel about Buehler.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like I was saying before, the more I think about it, the better I feel. I start looking at what the Yankees are doing. And, yes, they can hit home runs. And Giancarlo Stanton, the one guy you don't want to get hot because he has just not been that hot guy for so long, was the ALCS MVP.
Another SoCal guy.
Another SoCal guy. Went to Notre Dame High School right down the street from me.
Another tuition high school.
Very much. That was when he was Mike Stanton. So, but at the same time, you look at it. I'm looking at their lineup, and besides Stanton, Soto, Judge, and Judge has, like you said, has not been very good.
For the majority of the playoffs, like he finished out the last series stronger.
Yes,
but on the whole, he has not been great.
No, Gleyber Torres has been getting some hits, and Anthony Volpe has been getting some hits, but really that's kind of it. They don't seem as deep as the Dodgers. Max Muncy got on base 12 times in a row and is turned kind of back into the Max Muncy of old, being patient at the plate, not swinging at pitches way off the plate like he had been. He's being patient and getting on base, and it's really working out for him. And you have Edman at the bottom. Kike Hernandez has been great. Chris Taylor started to get a couple of hits. It just seems like when Will Smith had a monster home run at the end, hopefully that helps him out.
Congratulations, by the way, to the Smith family.
Yes, congratulations. They had a beautiful baby just yesterday, I believe, right?
So
Jorge?
this week, yeah.
Yeah, this week. So that gives them a little bit of dad power coming into the series. I just feel like the Dodgers lineup is so much deeper than the Yankees, and again, the more I think about it, I just feel good.
Super small sample size, but Juan Soto on his career, 1 of 9 against Flaherty. And Judge has never faced him.
How many walks does Soto have against Flaherty?
I did not.
He has
that
6.
Deep. Oh,
yes. So
well, that context makes it different.
makes it a little bit different because Soto. See, that's the guy that you have to.
This
worry
is why
about.
I don't dig deep, Greg.
Right, I do. That's what I do on the Blue
Review.
Review.
The more you dig in, the less you may like what you see.
No, but I mean
that part of it.
that's what Soto's going to do though. He's going to walk. He's probably has the highest walk rate in baseball history at this point. I don't know what it is, but let's get into a little bit more about the series coming up. We'll talk about more of the X Factor type guys. Maybe we can do a little bit on that. And also, again, if you want to talk about the Dodgers, we'll talk about this game one, what your feelings are, how you're feeling about coming into the game. 877-710-3776, 877-710-ESPN. Andy Kamenetzky, Greg Bergman. That's all coming up next.
Getting you set for Game 1 of the World Series tonight. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Powered by LAX. Book now at parking.flylax.com.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Join 710 ESPN and Children's Dental Fun Zone for a smile-worthy celebration on Sunday, October 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. as the doors open to Children's Dental Fun Zone in Colton. Kids can dress up in their favorite costume and visit the trunk or treat. Parents meet the doctors and staff and enjoy food, games, raffles, and giveaways. 1280 East Washington Street in the city of Colton. Visit their Instagram at CDF Zone or visit their website, cdfzone.com.
The countdown to tip-off is on, and George Chevrolet wants to get you in the game with unbeatable offers on a new Chevy. That's right, George Chevrolet, your 6-time Chevy Dealer of the Year, is playing to win with big discounts and season-high savings on new models like the redesigned Chevy Traverse, the fuel-efficient Chevy Trax, and the all-electric Duo, the Chevy Blazer EV and Equinox EV, and many more. Visit George Chevrolet in Bellflower off the 91 Freeway Lakewood exit or online at georgechevy.com. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Hey kids, Uncle Artie here from Pernia Law, here to tell you about our newest partnership deal with Matt Barnes, who has deep LA roots, former Bruin and pro basketball player for both LA teams.
If you're looking for the best possible results after an accident, call my guy, Uncle Artie, at Pernia Law. That's 844-DIAL-UNC. That's 844-DIAL-UNC.
That's right. Call us or slip into the DM, Uncle.Artie.
Uncle Artie's not just my friend, but he's your uncle in the business. Artie Pernia is a seasoned personal injury attorney who works with you so you receive the best possible compensation for your case. Let Uncle Artie and the Pernia Law family provide peace of mind so you can focus on recovery and getting back to you.
If you've been injured in an accident or you're unhappy with your current injury attorney, come to Pernia Law. We take care of you like family. That's why they call me Uncle Artie.
Call my guy, Uncle Artie, at Pernia Law. That's 844-DIAL-UNC. That's 844-DIAL-UNC.
All right, everybody. Sedano and Cap here. And George, let's talk to everybody about Prize Picks, where you and me are freaking geniuses, and that's why we're killing it.
We are crushing it, Cappy. And by the way, you can too. You can win as much as up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks.
But let me tell you something right now. When you download the Prize Picks app and you use our code CAPPY, K-A-P-P-Y, you make your first play at $5, they hit you with an instant $50 bonus. It doesn't matter if you win the play or you lose the play. A $5 play turns into a $50 bonus.
Oh, my God. It's amazing. They're giving you free money, for God's sake. And by the way, it's the best way to get action in sports in over 30 states, including, obviously, this one here in California.
So, George, I want everybody to download the Prize Picks app and use our code CAPPY, K-A-P-P-Y, and let's win.
Yeah, absolutely. And Prize Picks puts its members first. So all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Man, when your picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. And you know where you can do it? Only on Prize Picks.
We are getting you ready for Game 1 of the World Series tonight at Chavez Ravine Dodgers Yankees with live and local LA sports talk. This is the Blue Review Morning Show with Greg Bergman and Andy Kamenetzky. Brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. We continue on 7:10 a.m., the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. Once again, Bergman and Andy.
Okay, this is the all Brad Paisley Blue Review special.
Yeah, but Andy doesn't deserve them.
I do not deserve them. We've established this.
Neither do I, Jorge,
Yeah, neither
because
do
I have
man.
no idea what this is.
If people could see our thread, we all thought Nationwide was his biggest thing. So that's cool.
No, all three of us were like, Brad Paisley?
Yep.
What the F? Like, that makes no sense. None of us
I
knew.
get it. I do get it.
Well, I get it now. He's a big Dodger fan.
Right.
He's a really big Dodger fan. That makes a lot of sense.
I want to find the story because earlier
Right?
it was a Tyler Glass. I think it was Tyler Glasnow went to his house or something like that, and that's how they got him to sign with the Dodgers. Brad Paisley. It was a
He
whole
is
story.
from, no joke, Glen, one word, Dale, second word, West Virginia. So he is a Glendale native, just not the Glendale native that we talk about in Los Angeles.
Yeah, so Brad made it clear he was a Tyler fan, made sure to use that as much as we could. We got to pull out some stops. So Brad Paisley helped Tyler Glasnow trade go through. Now, you might feel good about that when the season starts. I don't know if you feel so good about that now.
I was going to say, is this something that Dodger fans love Paisley over or hold against him?
Yeah,
because so far this investment's not going well.
Little column A, little column B.
I mean, it
it's a
wasn't even
little
just
up
the
and down.
trade; it was the extension.
Yeah, it's they
like
gave
in
him
a
lot
couple
of money.
years, Brad Paisley may never be invited to sing at Dodger Stadium again.
If they're in the World Series over and over again, I think they'll be just fine. But either way, yeah. So that was a big reason why I knew I saw that story at some point, and that's just. I don't know what's going on with Glasnow, and I think there's a lot of he just doesn't have it when it goes for the length of a season, and that's what's difficult for him.
Well, at least he's not here for another 5 years.
Oh yeah, kinda is.
Yeah,
but I mean, they'll figure something out with him. They'll
nice
figure out
work, Paisley.
Hey, he's singing the anthem in Game 1. You give him a little bit of credit. You don't deserve. You don't deserve.
Little respect for the anthem, AK.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your service.
So wanted to go into a little bit more about this series. Again, still feel very, very good about it. I think someone said that you saw that Buehler likes to pitch in the cold.
Yes, I did not know that.
Yeah, so after, I believe it was, I'm forgetting which game it was. So when he pitched in New York, I believe it was Game 3 in New York against the Mets, it was freezing, and he won that. He had a great outing. He does like to pitch in the cold. So if you put him in New York in Game 3 in New York, that's your reason.
And it'll be in the 40s in New York. It'll be in the 40s. I heard this morning, from a report, weather report from New York. When the series gets there, it's gonna be 40 degrees, a little bit higher than 40 degrees.
What kind of psycho likes that?
That's like a.
You know, some people just pitch better in situations like that.
That is insane. That sounds terrible.
Who was like Tom Brady in snow? He's really, really good in those situations.
Dude, as I didn't grow up in super snow, excuse me, in November in St. Louis. Like, we didn't usually get snow till like December, January, that sort of thing. But it did get cold. Like, playing football in cold sucks. It's awful. Like, every hit stings.
Oh, yeah.
It's terrible. Like, I mean, I get it with Brady. Nobody was allowed to hit him, so it
No,
didn't bother him.
he's allowed to stand there and nothing happened
But
to
like
him.
the idea of those people who like to play in snow, they are psychos, man.
Yeah, I don't know why they can do it, but it's going to be very different. So on that side, on the East Coast, it's going to be freezing. Over here, it's going to be nice and warm because it's California weather, and right now it's actually still pretty warm. I don't know if it's supposed to stay warm for the rest of the week, but it has been.
I will look at the forecast tonight.
Yeah, 79 today, 81 tomorrow, 79. Yeah, so it's still going to be nice and warm.
By the
out here.
time, though, the game starts, it is supposed to be 68 degrees. So
Today?
Yeah.
I got 74. It's a 5 o'clock start.
It's a 5 o'clock start.
Yeah, 5 o'clock start. So, yeah.
76.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
that's
it's still
not
going to be
Bueller
nice and
weather.
warm. No. So that's why they're pushing him into New York.
Yes.
But either way. So, I mean, it's still going to be interesting. I wanted to go a little bit more into like the lower end of the lineups for some of these guys. So, who do you feel best about? Because Kike has to be in the lineup every single day at this point, right? And do you see Miguel Rojas making the roster? And you were talking about it before the show started, about if you can have Freddie with a hurt ankle and Miguel Rojas with his busted up leg, how can you have both of them out there at the same time?
I would be very surprised with Rojas if he's on the roster. I mean, just unless he has dramatically improved. And I'm correct. This is something that they're saying surgery's coming. Like at some point, he's going to end up
probably
going under the knife. I can't imagine that it's gotten that much better between when he first was taken off the roster to where we are now, that he can play at a level where he's worth putting on the field. Because Miguel Rojas, you're not putting him out there for his bat. It's purely about defense.
But he gets hits every once in a while.
But you're not thinking of Rojas with his bat. Like, the reason you would put him on the roster is you're thinking about the defense.
The roster.
If he does not have the range at shortstop, I don't know why you're putting him on the roster.
Especially when you have a guy like Tommy Edman, who was great at shortstop. He played a very, very good shortstop. He can be a Gold Glover at basically any position.
And on top of it, too, with Freeman's situation, you might need a pinch runner. Like, you're not going to have Rojas available to do that, even if he's coming off the bench. Someone like Kiermaier, I think, is going to offer you more at this stage. If Rojas is not himself, like Freddie Freeman plays at least a position where you're doing the least amount of running, like the least amount of pure activity. And if he comes up to the plate, psychologically, it matters. You're seeing Freddie Freeman. You know what he can do with his bat. You can at least justify having him on the roster as a pinch hitter, even if you're not confident he could play full games. If Rojas can't play a full game, I don't see the point of putting him on the roster.
No, and especially with how well Kike is playing and the fact that he is so good in the playoffs and just rises to a completely different level, which is very strange. But it's
tweeted
great.
out, and I'm bringing this
15
up. 15
home runs in the postseason.
It went semi-viral, this comp that I made. He's like the Robert Horry of baseball.
Yeah.
Like a role player that once those lights get
Great
bright,
analogy.
he loves it. Like he clearly loves this stuff.
And he's been doing it for like 10 years. And it's not just with the Dodgers. He did it with the Red Sox, too. So because he's playing so well and his bat needs to be in the lineup, having Miguel Rojas on the roster just doesn't make as much sense as
unless he's really healed up.
Yeah, unless he's just at a perfect high level that I can't imagine that it is. I mean, I'm sure you're going to get shot up with what you need. But the fact is, if you can have Edman, you need Edman in the lineup. You need Kike in the lineup. You just can't have Rojas at that point because, I mean, I can also see a situation where they bring Rojas in and put Kiermaier down, and if Rojas gets hurt, they just bring Kiermaier back on the taxi squad. But I'm with you. If you want a pinch runner late in the game, you want Kiermaier, not him.
The problem is, even if you can do that, it doesn't help you in the game that you're dealing with in the moment. Like you can't bring Kiermaier, you can't activate Kiermaier 7 innings into a game.
No.
I don't see the point.
Look, I'm completely with you on this. That's the only change that I can see being possibly made from the hitting side of the equation, but I don't see it actually happening. You need the defense of Kiermaier in late innings. You need the speed of Kiermaier in late innings. There's more need for a guy like Kiermaier than a banged up Miguel Rojas.
Yeah, especially at that position. I'll tell you right now, if I'm Rojas, the area where I'd need shot up, I'm good.
Let's stay away from that area.
You know what, guys?
No needles.
Not feeling it.
Needles.
Not feeling it.
All right.
You guys win this thing for me, baby.
Yeah, that's right. I'm here for you. I'll be I'll be giving the shots out afterwards. Don't worry about it.
And the speech.
Yeah, right.
I'll be handing out the post-game orange slices, but no.
Whatever you need from me, I'm here, but no. All right, we got about a half an hour left, and coming up next, we have Marcus Grant, the other voice on the Blue Review Daily. He's been doing this all year with me from the very beginning to the very end, so much love to Marcus Grant. We're going to have him coming back. Andy Kamenetzky, Greg Bergman, that's all coming up next.
For Game 1 of the World Series tonight, more of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
It's time to get ready, Los Angeles. Come to Dick's Sporting Goods to celebrate and get ready with new Dodgers championship gear. Shop our huge selection of Dodgers tees, hats, and hoodies for the whole family, and make sure everyone is ready for the final series. Select stores will be open late and early next day following a series clinch. Get to Dick's Sporting Goods now for the best selection, or shop online at Dicks.com. Every championship season starts at Dick's.
At Children's Hospital Los Angeles, we're a nationally recognized leader in pediatric care, honored by U.S. News and World Report as one of the best in the country. Here, we achieve amazing breakthroughs that change lives. From groundbreaking cancer therapies that offer new hope to young patients, to advanced heart procedures that save lives, we partner with families to conquer challenges and achieve extraordinary outcomes. Choose the best care for your child at chla.org.
If the car in your garage is not the car of your dreams, let's talk. Hi, I'm Garth Blumenthal, Unstoppable Automotive Group. Representing Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Polestar, Volvo, Jaguar, and Land Rover, we are doing everything in our power to make your car buying experience the best it can be. And with lower interest rates and higher inventories, you are now firmly in the driver's seat. To find the dealership near you, visit unstoppablegroup.com for details.
Unstoppable Automotive Group, building relationships one guest at a time.
Hey guys, it's Cappy. You've heard me talk about my personal situation with my divorce and subsequent custody battle in the past, and I know that you need a team behind you to get the justice you deserve. My friend Mark Reel and his team at Real Fathers Rights are here to help you guys. Visit realfathersrights.com/710. That's REEL, realfathersrights.com/710, or call 323-870-1611. That's 323-870-1611. Real Fathers Rights, the Father's Rights Attorneys.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
It's football season, and Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all the action on the gridiron. With a game-changing rewards program, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats ensures that every fan can catch their favorite teams and players in action. Vivid Seats has you covered with deals that cater to every football enthusiast. And all tickets come back by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
We are getting you ready for Game 1 of the World Series tonight at Chavez Ravine Dodgers Yankees with live and local LA sports talk. This is the Blue Review Morning Show with Greg Bergman and Andy Kamenetzky, powered by LAX. Planning a trip out of LAX? Make parking a breeze by pre-booking with LAX official parking. Save up to 60% off drive-up rates and skip having to search for a spot. And check this out. Now until November 2nd, when you pre-book, you're automatically entered for a chance to win $10,000 to create your ultimate LA game day. Pick your favorite LA team, choose a home game, anything through 2025, and let a concierge craft a one-of-a-kind experience just for you. Book now and enter to win at parking.flylax.com. That's parking.flylax.com. Let's do it. We continue on 7:10 a.m., the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. Once again, Bergman and Andy.
It's time for the Blue Review. The Blue Review. Bergman and team.
That's right. It is time for the Blue Review because the compatriot for the Blue Review, Marcus Grant, is on the air with us. What's going on, Marcus?
Doing good, man. It's a Friday. It's Game 1 of the World Series. Feeling good. Feeling surprisingly calm about Game 1 tonight.
Right? So am I. Before we get into the series, I need to have a conversation with you about Shohei Ohtani. We've been talking about how great we think he's going to be in this series, but there's somebody on Twitter, because there's always somebody on Twitter, that is trying to argue with me right now about how Shohei has not been good in this series, in the postseason. How would you like to respond to that?
You're wrong.
That's why you're a professional broadcaster, Marcus. Lines like that.
Thank you, Eddie. Look, I mean, I guess if the bar is what he did in that last month at the end of the regular season, on the run up to 50-50, if that's the bar for what Shohei has to be, well then yeah, okay, he wasn't that, but he got big hits in big situations, right? I mean, I know there was the whole thing about him being 0 for whatever with nobody on base. He broke out of that. He broke out of that with a home run. He was monstrous with guys on base. I mean, he really did keep the offense going. He made it to the point. I mean, I think having Shohei at the top of the lineup in part helped Mookie get going, because at some point you don't want to put Shohei on base and give Mookie an opportunity. So, again, I think where we're setting the bar and what we're setting the baseline as, I guess, has something to do with it. But if you're going to tell me Shohei hasn't been good in the postseason, I'm going to just straight up tell you that you are wrong.
You hear that, Jose? He's not hot garbage. He actually said hot garbage. That was the words he used.
Garbage.
Hot garbage
That's
for
even more
Shohei.
Wronger. That's the wrongerest thing I've heard. What?
Hot garbage
for Shohei Ohtani. Yeah,
I mean,
makes sense.
Like if you want to say you thought he could do more. I mean, there were a few pockets of both earlier series where he was a little bit quiet. Like if you want to say I thought he'd be louder, sustained for all those games, okay, that's fine. Hot garbage feels like a little much.
Seems very, very wrong. And also, he was like 17 of his last 20 or 18 of his last 21 with runners in scoring position. I'll take that at any point, especially in the World Series.
Landon Knack's performance, for example.
Hot garbage.
Closer to hot
Sure.
garbage. Respectful. But yeah, that's a little much.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
how are you feeling about this series? Because I was telling Andy before, the more I think about this series, the better I feel. I mean, I know they have the better, I guess, starting pitching, but so did the Padres. I really like how the lineup is worked out. I like how the bullpen is adding Vezina and Gratterall. I mean, hopefully, most likely. So how are you feeling? Because I feel great, weirdly.
No, I do. I feel really good. I did. It was weird that I woke up this morning and felt calm. I mean, going back to Game 6 of the NLCS, I was sort of a mild wreck. Like I was nervous. I couldn't really eat a whole lot. I didn't want that thing to get to Game 7. I woke up this morning and I felt okay. I think the Dodgers, top to bottom, are a better team. Like you said, I think the Yankees have the advantage in starting pitching. They've got 4 guys that they feel good about running out there. But the bullpen, I think the Dodgers have an advantage there. And I think from 1 to 9, there are a lot tougher outs there. I think for the Dodgers, the key is going to be controlling Soto, controlling Judge, controlling Stanton. And if I remember right, Soto didn't play in that series, right? He was injured for that series earlier in the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
But Judge, for the most part, they kept him in check. Stanton is right now. I would love to see a foot race between Giancarlo Stanton and Freddie Freeman, because neither one of those guys can run a whole lot. But I think if you can somehow control that middle part of the lineup, then I just don't know where the Yankees are going to get a lot of run production.
You talked about the importance of the Yankees starters. How important do you think it is to get an early lead in these games for the Dodgers?
I think it's huge, right? Just because that is the advantage. So if you've got a situation where Aaron Boone has to start thinking about that bullpen early, I think that gives you a huge advantage. And I think it's been the case for the Dodgers in all of the series. One, because it obviously puts the other team on their heels a little bit. But I think with the Dodgers pitching situation, it gives you a little bit more cushion. It gives you a little bit more reason to breathe slightly easier, right? Because you're hoping Jack Flaherty is more like the Game 1 NLCS Jack Flaherty and not the Game 5 Jack Flaherty. But if you go out and you can get him a couple of runs and he can go back to the mound in the second inning, with a lead, you feel a little bit better about that. So I do think being able to strike first, I think, one, keeping the Yankees down in the top of the first inning and then coming out and getting a run or two, putting up a crooked number would be great in the bottom of the first inning and sort of letting your pitching staff dictate from there.
So if you had to go by bullpen, I think the Dodgers have the better bullpen, especially with Luke Weaver not being all that great for the Yankees. Clay Holmes has been giving up some home runs for the Yankees too. You feel better about the Dodgers. Clay Holmes, yeah.
I was just waiting for that. I knew it was coming.
Do you feel better about the Dodgers than the Yankees in the bullpen situation?
I absolutely do. No, 100%. And as you mentioned, the hope that Vesia and or Gratterall are back. I think especially Vesia, just because you need another left-hander there. You're going to, at some point, you're going to have to match up with Juan Soto in a big situation. I guarantee that's going to happen at some point in the series. So you want another option besides just Bonda. But, having those guys back, the way that, guys like Kopech and Phillips, Trinan have thrown the ball, it's hard to really doubt them at this point. And we said this before, Greg, that, at the end of the NLCS, guys like Honeywell and Kasperius, I don't know if they make the World Series roster, but those guys were key. When you're planning a bullpen game, you're going to have somebody in there that's going to have to eat innings, whether it's in a win or a loss. And the fact that guys like Honeywell were able to do that is going to be huge. So from top to bottom, I have a lot better feeling about this Dodger bullpen. As you mentioned, Weaver has been rough. Holmes has been rough. I don't think there's anybody else that they really count on in high leverage situations to get them some outs. So I feel a lot better about the Dodgers.
You joked before about how much of a struggle, a foot race between Stanton and Freeman would be right now. What do you think are reasonable expectations for Freeman? Like, I don't even mean like in terms of production. I just mean like what he can actually do on the field, because he is clearly hurting.
Yeah, he's obviously very limited right now. I think you want him to give you quality at bats. And I think the last time he had an extra base hit was the game where he got hurt, that late regular season game against the Padres where they ended up winning the division. That, I think, was the last time he had an extra base hit. But if you can get some quality at bats, if it's singles, so be it. But if it's moving runners over, driving runs in, however he can, I think that's important. The other part of it is just to at least be solid defensively. I think that to me is a concern, just because so far he has not hurt them defensively. But you feel like, is it a matter of time? Because obviously it puts pressure on whoever's playing at second base, whether it's Chris Taylor, Gavin Lux, if it's Kike, whomever it is. That's a lot of added pressure that you've got to cover more ground because Freddie can't move the way he normally does. So I think if you sort of set a baseline of him, not the normal Freddie Freeman, but maybe, 80% of Freddie Freeman, if he can sort of achieve that over the course of the series, I think they'll be okay.
Man, if you can get 80% of Freddie Freeman, I'll be ecstatic.
80% of Freddie Freeman is way better than most of the league.
Yeah, pretty much.
Honesty.
So I would be, and he had a couple of picks at first base that guys just can't do very regularly. That's something that Max Muncy, he's getting better at it, but it's just not to the level of Freddie Freeman. So on the other guy that possibly could make this roster again, and we were just talking about him, it was Miguel Rojas. We both feel that there's just no chance that Miguel Rojas is on this roster because of what you get from Kiermaier defensively in pinch running situations, the fact that Edman has been so good at shortstop. Do you see any chance that Rojas makes the roster over Kiermaier?
I don't think so, just because Rojas is so limited. And if he doesn't make the roster, it'll be sad a little bit because of what he meant to this team for the majority of the season. That you knew you were going to get great defense out of him, but for him to come out and have arguably his best offensive season of his career at this age is something remarkable. So it would be a little bit sad, but I think because you don't necessarily expect a ton out of him offensively, and he only gives you that shortstop position he can't necessarily run. I don't know if he necessarily makes it on the roster because I think, I don't know, correct me if you think differently, Greg, but I do think it comes down to him or Kiermaier probably for that last position player roster spot. And right now, you can get a lot more out of Kiermaier. You can put him in center field defensively. You can have him pinch run. And look, in a big situation, because the Dodgers suddenly decide they want to bunt, right? You need somebody to go up there and lay down a bunt. Kiermaier can do it. Let's not forget the last time, and I love Miggy Rowe. He's been great. But the last time he was asked to bunt, he ended up grounding into a triple play. So
don't remind me.
The odds of that happening again are really low, Marcus.
Odds of it happening once.
Statistically, the idea that would happen twice is basically impossible.
Oh man,
Maybe just a double play.
You would hope.
Yeah, we don't want any double plays. That's what I think, by the way, Mark, is that the bottom of this lineup is doing a really, really good job of something that they're paying attention to is not grounding into double plays at the bottom of the lineup, not swinging away when you have two guys coming up, when two guys on base and Shohei coming up, doing the really good job of trying to pay attention to what's happening to make sure that you can get to that top of the lineup. I don't know why this all of a sudden started happening, but they are doing it at a very high pace now.
They are, and it's great, and it's a thing that we have touched on all year long is how much the bottom of the lineup is going to be important to get the guys at the top. And it didn't matter for us whether it was, Mookie hitting first or Shohei hitting first. You just wanted those guys at the bottom of the lineup to kind of keep this thing turning and get it back over to the guys who could really do some damage. And throw in the fact that it's been, in some ways, the bottom of the lineup doing the big damage, right? Tommy Edman hit what, ninth? He hit fourth. He ended up winning the NLCS MVP. Kike Hernandez at the bottom of the lineup had some huge swings. So that's really been important. I will throw back at you, though, a guy that I think needs to show up that we didn't really see much in the NLCS was Teoscar Hernandez.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
It wasn't really until Game 6 that he started to hit the ball again. I mean, other than that, it was he looked kind of lost at the plate. And I think, for all the other guys that are going to perform, Teoscar's got to show up and he's got to hit in this series.
He was really good against the Yankees in the regular season.
Against the Yankees,
yeah.
he was good.
Really good.
He was good against the Padres in the first series too. He basically helped win that Padres series. So it's an up and down kind of situation there.
We were talking earlier, Marcus, about the storylines for this series, just involving emotional factors like the starting pitchers tonight. You've got two SoCal kids in Flaherty and Garrett Cole. The idea of the Dodgers playing for Fernando, looking to win this thing for Fernando. He's obviously going to be honored before Game 1. They're going to be wearing the 34 patches. How much do you think factors like that matter and can potentially shape a series?
A little bit. I mean, I think the emotional part of it, I think it, to quote Mike Tyson, right? Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. And so I think it sort of is that kind of thing where it's a big thing to talk about, and I know the fans are certainly going to be into it. It'll be great to see the 34 patch out there. Very interested to see what the pregame ceremony is for Fernando. But I think that sort of lasts until the first big moment of the game, whether it's the first big rally or a big home run or something like that. And then all that sort of goes away and you get back to playing baseball. So, I think on a much more, serious level, right? I mean, remember the Yankees played in the World Series after 9/11, and there was definitely a lot of sentiment about, what this means for the city of New York, what this means for the franchise. And in the end, it's the Diamondbacks that win that World Series. So I think, there's some sentimentality. I think it's interesting to talk about, but I don't know that it necessarily can stretch itself out over the course of a 7-game series.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think it's more for the fan base and everybody here in Los Angeles just being like, we're going to rally around this kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously there's going to be a lot of emotion in that ballpark. There would have been anyway, but I think having Fernando's death come just before the series, I think is really only going to add to that. But man, I mean, there's so many storylines here, right? I mean, it's the two most decorated franchises in Major League Baseball. It's the two biggest cities, major markets in the country. It's stars galore on either side. Heck, even in the dugout, right? I mean, it's USC versus UCLA,
yep.
Right? With Aaron Boone going against Dave Roberts. I mean, there are so many intricate storylines in this thing. I think everybody's going to have something that they can sort of cherry pick and hold on to over the next week.
I hate rooting for the UCLA side on this, but I am.
Yeah, you should.
Oh, no.
I love it so much more. I know you two. Oh, you're both are alums. I forgot.
I hate rooting for the UCLA side, but I hate rooting ever for the Yankees more than I would hate rooting for UCLA.
Exactly.
So
everyone's a UCLA fan now.
And as the president of the Appreciate
Dave
Roberts fan
club. Let's not go that far, Greg.
We're all Bruin fans today. That's the mantra
everybody.
for the rest
Relax.
of it. All right, let's go into what you about the series a little bit.
Bruins, settle down.
So let's start off with Game 1. What do you think happens in this first game, and then what do you think the final score is?
Look, I think Cole's going to come out. I think he's going to pitch well. I think for the Dodgers, if you can get to him for 3 or 4 runs, I think you're doing really, really well. I think Flaherty's going to come out and throw well today. And I think we will know early how Flaherty's going to go. I think if he gets through a clean first inning, I think you're going to look at a really sharp Jack Flaherty. The thing is, he's going to have to make pitches because the Yankees are sort of like the Dodgers in the sense of they don't chase a lot. They're going to wait, and they're going to find a pitch to drive, and especially those big boppers, they're going to hit them. But I think Flaherty pitches well enough. I think the Dodgers do enough to sort of get into that bullpen a little bit early, and I think they win Game 1. Let's go 6-3.
6-3.
A Dodger win in Game 1.
I like that. Does most of that come off the bullpen or off Garrett Cole?
I think they get a couple off Cole. I think they get a couple late off the bullpen. It's probably close until the 7th or 8th. They get a couple off the bullpen to kind of pull away.
Oh, by the way, this is from Fredo Cervantes from the Sporting Tribune. Ice Cube will perform a special World Series edition of Hits, Bow Down, and It Was a Good Day in front of, Fredo saying, an electric crowd at Dodger Stadium Game 2. I guess he's calling his shot that the crowd's going to be really into it, but we were talking before about Brad Paisley with the national anthem for Game 1. It seemed weird to us before we realized that he was actually a big-time Dodger fan, but everybody knows about Cube and his connections to all things LA sports, so that's going to be really fun.
Yeah. Now, I think I saw this the other day that Brad Paisley has performed the national anthem before the World Series a couple of times, right? Both times, something bananas happened. It was Game 3 of the 2018 World Series, the game that went 18 innings before Max Muncy won it on the walk-off home run.
A Dodger win.
And Game 2 of 2017, which the Astros won in extras. That was a game that went like 11 and was really back and forth and sort of nuts too. So,
and the cheating. Let's not forget the cheating.
Yeah, there were trash cans and a whole bunch of other.
He's performed before 2 World Series games. Both of them ended up being sort of bonkers. So maybe something really nutty is going to happen tonight, but hopefully it happens in favor of the Dodgers.
I hope so. But all right, so for the rest of it, now let's go for the entire series itself. So what do you think it ends in, and who would you say would be the MVP?
I'm going to say it ends in 6. That's what I said last week. So I'm sticking with Dodgers in 6. And for my MVP, I'm going to go out and say, that's a good call. Let's just go chalk here, right? Let's just say Shohei, because it's been an amazing year for him. His first year with the Dodgers, he comes over, he sets a standard with 50-50. How poetic would it be? How cinematic would it be for Shohei to cap this first year in Dodger blue with not just a World Series championship, but a World Series MVP to cap it off?
Well, it is also, too, I mean, we know this when it comes to the voters. They love themselves a storyline and a narrative. That is just narrative on steroids. The idea of Ohtani coming over here, first season in the playoffs, period, with the Dodgers, period. He is the MVP of the World Series. Like, that is, I mean, that's almost so on the nose the writers would reject it as like a Hollywood story, but I can guarantee you the MVP voters will not reject it.
No,
They'll
I mean, it's not going out on it. Go ahead.
It's going to be hard for him to do it because apparently he's hot garbage. So
Right.
it would be a big.
But that's part of the narrative. He overcomes.
That's just Jose. Jose
he
thinks
overcomes his hot garbage self. Like, he overcomes the fact that he's been nothing but hot garbage in the playoffs, and he rises above it to win MVP.
Right. We're not going out on a limb by saying Shohei. And by the way, I agree with you. I'm picking Shohei as well because it just makes too much sense that he's going to the biggest of stages and the biggest of moments. Shohei Ohtani is going to come up come up huge because that's just what he does. Every time there's a huge moment, he just destroys everything that we even think he can possibly do. The walk-off grand slam 40-40, the greatest game in basically baseball history for 50-50. Now he's in the World Series. He's going to do something amazing, and it's going to be to a level that we have never seen. It just makes too much sense. So that's why I'm going on in that exact same spot as you.
Yeah, I mean, he's been that. I mean, look, at some point in the season, Greg, we're doing Blue Review every day, and we're texting you and me and Parker texting each other every night during games, and he'll do a thing that's just like, for a normal human being, you're like, this is mind blowing. And we got to a point where we're like, Yeah, of course he did.
It just makes sense.
That's who Shohei is. It doesn't make sense, but it makes all kinds of sense. So, I mean, look, maybe there's an unsung hero. Like, it was fun to see Tommy Edman do his thing, but man, this feels like a series for the stars. This feels like a series for the Ohtanis and Betts and Sotos and Judges, and it just feels like one of those guys is going to be really the deciding factor of this thing.
I mean, if it's anything else besides a series for the stars, won't you be a little bit disappointed? If it's Tommy Edman and it's Anthony Volpe and it's Tim Hill and it's Brusdar Graterol that are the stars of this series, won't we all be just a little bit disappointed?
I mean, probably. Look, I go back. There's side note to this, because my mind works in random tangents here, right? But when Max Muncy was putting together his on-base streak and they showed the stat, one of the names that popped up was Billy Hatcher. And for me, as a growing up as an A's fan, remember that 1990 World Series, I got a little bit of PTSD. But that was a series with stars, right, where you had Canseco and McGuire on one side, you had Eric Davis on the other, and it was like the Billy Hatchers and Chris Sabos of the world.
Chris Sabo, wow.
That year.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys matter, though. I mean, everybody has to do your part.
Absolutely.
If you're going to go, baseball is not a sport designed where one guy can carry you through the entire thing. I mean, it's an individual
Shohei
sport.
can. I mean,
maybe
I don't know how else to say it.
But he could, I guess. But you don't want to count on a guy who only does something like 5 times an entire game to carry you.
Of course.
Everyone's got to pitch in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Marcus. Enjoy Game 1. We got a lot to go over, but you'll be right back. We're going to do a little bit. This whole thing, this Blue Review morning special, is going to be happening all next week, Monday through Friday, depending how long the series goes.
I was going to ask, does this? Let's just say the Dodgers sweep.
Yes.
Are there still going to be Blue Reviews every morning?
No, so it'll stop after the next game. So if it's Game 4, which would be Tuesday, we'll do one on Wednesday, and then we'll go back to network programming for Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
So we go as long as the series goes. If the series goes 7, then we'll be back on Monday. So it's all if necessary. This is not a thing that's happening all the time. This is just for during the World Series. So I know you love having content at 7 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock, but this is just for the World Series.
I stand to make the most money in a 7-game series.
Right, you do. Absolutely. Okay. All right, thanks a lot, Marcus. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, see you guys.
All right, see you. All right, coming up next, we got Crosstalk. Travis and DeMarco coming in to see what their thoughts are. I don't know which way Travis is going to lean. Sometimes he leans more towards the negative. Sometimes he leans more towards the positive.
When has he ever leaned towards the positive?
Outside of the on-air portion of it all. So, all right, we'll get into a little bit of that next. Andy Kamenetzky, Greg Bergman coming up.
It's the Blue Review Morning Show with Greg Bergman and Andy Kamenetzky, getting you set for Game 1 of the World Series tonight. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Powered by LAX. Book now at parking.flylax.com.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Join 710 ESPN and Children's Dental Fun Zone for a smile-worthy celebration on Sunday, October 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. as the doors open to Children's Dental Fun Zone in Colton. Kids can dress up in their favorite costume and visit the trunk or treat. Parents meet the doctors and staff and enjoy food, games, raffles, and giveaways. 1280 East Washington Street in the city of Colton. Visit their Instagram at CDFZone or visit their website, cdfzone.com.
Hey, what up? It's Matt Barnes here. If you're looking for the best possible results after an accident, call my guy, Uncle Artie, at Pernia Law.
For me, it's about getting the top result and the top value for your claim. Even if you didn't have insurance during the accident, Uncle Artie will still help you. I'm sure a lot of you out there got turned back from attorneys when you said, I don't have insurance. Well, guess what? Uncle Artie can still help you. It does not matter. Give us a call. You have nothing to lose. We take the case on a contingency. You don't pay up front.
Uncle Artie's not just my friend, but he's your uncle in the business. Artie Pernia is a seasoned personal injury attorney who works with you so you receive the best possible compensation for your case. Let Uncle Artie and the Pernia Law family provide peace of mind so you can focus on your recovery.
Trust us, trust Uncle.
When you're looking for the best possible results after an accident, call my guy, Uncle Artie, at Pernia Law, 844-DIAL-UNC. That's 844-DIAL-UNC.
It's SUV month at Kia of Carson, and you can get sweet deals on the last of the 24 Tellurides and win a sweet night experience for you and 3 guests for just a test drive. Compliments of Kia of Carson and ESPN LA. We have great deals on our hybrids and plug-ins, as well as our all-electric models. So whether you decide to go with the Nero hybrid with an EPA estimated 53 mpg in the city or a rugged Telluride, we have the car and the deal for you all month at Kia of Carson. Visit KiaofCarson.com, or better yet, come test drive a new Kia for a chance to win a sweet experience.
Hey, it's Mace. There's a lot on the line in this election, from protecting the Social Security you've earned to supporting family caregivers. And you have the power to make the candidates listen, because voters 50 and over decide elections. That's why AARP California has created an election guide with the most up-to-date information about when, where, and how to vote. Get trusted election information at aarp.org/CA votes. That's aarp.org/CA votes. Paid for by AARP.
Want more fun watching the NBA? Try playing Sleeper Picks. Download the Sleeper app today and pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, points, rebounds, assists, and more. If you're right, you can win up to 100 times your cash. Right now, Sleeper has a special offer for NBA tip-off. New users who deposit $100 will receive a $200 bonus in site credit. Just use code 710, and your first deposit up to $100 will be tripled. That's code 710. Must be at least 18 years old. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 800-426-2537 for help.
Are you ready to unleash the beast? Monster Energy is here to give you the edge this college tailgate season. Loaded with bold flavors, our powerful blend gives you the energy you need to push you beyond your limits. Tune in all season long with Monster, the energy drink of ESPN Radio College Football Tour. Power your performance with a drink that's as hungry for victory as you are. Crack open an ice-cold Monster and dominate your competition. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Grab yours today.
Are you ready to build your company's dream team? Just like in sports, finding skilled players is essential for success. With Robert Half's winning combination of specialized recruiting professionals and award-winning AI, we'll help you find the MVPs and key role players who will have you hanging banners in the rafters. Because in business, it's all about having the experienced team on your side. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
Score a win with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup options. Amazon Pickup is a convenient and secure way to collect your Amazon packages from locations that are near you. Choose an Amazon locker or counter. Whether you're hustling between home, work, or your usual game day spots, grab your packages on your schedule. Amazon Pickup is the worry-free option for the times when home delivery isn't ideal. To find your nearest Amazon Pickup location, go to amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
John Ireland here. Hey, look, your smile matters, so let's help you and your kids get a brighter, healthier smile. Dr. Monica Madden at Beverly Hills Orthodontics is born and raised in LA and is also a mom herself, so she understands what kids need and ensures a comfortable and friendly experience for all. Your kid's smile will be in expert hands. Check them out today at BeverlyHillsOrtho.com or call 877-7-LET'S-DO-THIS. That's 877-753-8736. BeverlyHillsOrtho.com.
710 ESPN, your home for the 17-time world champion Lakers.
KSPN Los Angeles, a Good Karma Brands radio station. We are getting you ready for Game 1 of the World Series tonight at Chavez Ravine Dodgers Yankees with live and local LA sports talk. This is the Blue Review Morning Show with Greg Bergman and Andy Kamenetzky, powered by LAX. Planning a trip out of LAX? Make parking a breeze by pre-booking with LAX official parking. Save up to 60% off drive-up rates and skip having to search for a spot. And check this out. Now until November 2nd, when you pre-book, you're automatically entered for a chance to win $10 grand to create your ultimate LA game day. Pick your favorite LA team, choose a home game, anything through 2025, and let a concierge craft a one-of-a-kind experience just for you. Book now and enter to win at parking.flylax.com. That's parking.flylax.com. Let's do it. We continue on 710 a.m., the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. Once again, Bergman and Andy.
All right, game one of the World Series tonight. Ashafez Ravine, Dodgers versus Yankees, and Travis Rogers and DeMarco Farr are here joining us. I love how Travis always comes in here. Before these things, he's very stoic, very calm, and I never know which way you're thinking when it comes to
you
the series.
uncomfortable.
You kind of are. You kind of are. It's how you
like to,
you look
you know,
over with just very like, what are you doing over there?
Yeah,
that's my seat.
I'm waiting for my turn to slide over and get back in my chair and kick you out of here. I'm just waiting.
No, how are you feeling about this game tonight?
I'm so uncomfortable being optimistic that I don't know what to do.
Right?
That I really think they're going to win the World Series. I really do. And
that's shocking to me coming from you.
Not that they can't lose. They obviously can.
Of course.
But eventually this stuff swings back the other way. It's been on the wrong side for a really long time. They've gotten some very good breaks. They're playing really well. The decisions they're making are paying off. I don't like being positive because it makes me queasy. Okay. But I'm,
you just said that out loud, right?
I know, but I'm optimistic. I really am. I think they're going to win.
Here's something, though, I do think, at least in terms of the most recent World Series, like the idea of eventually it has to swing back.
Yeah.
I think if you actually start peeling back the layers of the onion, though, I'm not even sure how much it is about peeling back versus just what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
2018, I think the Red Sox were better
I agree.
than the Dodgers.
They were.
So losing to that team makes sense.
Yep.
2017, there was
Shenanigans
cheating and nonsense and shenanigans going on, something that the Dodgers...
Trash cans and buzzers.
Right. They could not overcome in the moment. So in that sense, the Astros are supposed to win because they're going out of their way to make sure that they do. 2020, Dodgers go to the World Series as the better team. They win as the better team. Like there have been times when the Dodgers just weren't the better team and they lost as not the better team.
Yeah, I think this time around, I don't know if they're the better team. I don't know if they're the worst team. I don't remember the last time.
They're considered the slight favorite.
By like 52%, right? Yeah. It's just, it's a coin flip, a very slightly weighted one at best. I think you can make an argument that the Yankees might be better here or there. You can make the argument that the Dodgers might be better here or there. I really do think it comes down to if these two teams, the star power at the very top, like is one a little better than the other, they're both going to have to be good. If either one of the two star groups is bad, the other guy wins. I think that goes without saying. But who's better? Is Alex Verdugo have a better series than Tommy Edman? It's going to come down to one of those weird things
Anthony
like that.
Volpe or Kike Hernandez.
Yeah, it's going to come down to when is the Dodger bullpen, which has been
lights out.
Can they be lights out for another week and a half? I hope so. I think so. They've been really good, but you don't throw 50 bullpen innings in a row without having a hiccup. That just doesn't happen.
But then if you add in Alex Vezia and Brusdar Graterol that did not pitch at all in that last series, so now
that could cut either way, though, right?
Yeah, it could. It could. Your high leverage arms go from 3 to 5 or 6 at that point. It kind of looks a little bit. I was telling Andy before we were talking about it that. The more I think about it, the more I look at the Yankees, their starting pitching, their bullpen, everything, even their lineup, I just feel better and better, and I hate being in that spot because you don't want to be overconfident.
No.
Well, you can look.
I'm
you
overconfident.
can be as overconfident as you want.
Right, they can.
It doesn't matter. Like, if you want to consider this thing a wrap.
You feel about jinxing
this
and all
is
that.
where the gods are like, oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but look,
okay. Well,
there's so many people out there
know.
that are in the opposite direction, and these baseball gods can only punish one way.
That's what you'd like to think, but they're very creative. They're vengeful. They're unpredictable.
You will be smoten.
Yeah, I don't want to be smoted. Smited? Smoted?
Smoten.
Yeah, smoted.
But DeMarco, how are you feeling about this? He's actually being positive, and he's saying that he's being positive. Are you rubbing off on him?
Do you know that you said out loud that it hurts you to be positive?
It does. I'm not. I am who I am, not Popeye, but I am wired. My factory settings are pessimistic. I'm sorry.
Is he that pessimistic? Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. He's telling you right now.
We're less than 2 months. Really?
I've told you this. I'm not pessimistic in life.
Yeah.
I'm pessimistic about sports because I just think
is he pessimistic or jaded or just like distrustful of what the Dodgers have done to him? And I can understand that. If you always have one of the best teams and you're always knocking on the doorstep, but you never get across, that would make me a little bit bitter too. I'm surprised you're not. I'm surprised you're not like him.
No, so
In a way.
I do lean negative
Travis
a lot.
is older. Give Bergman.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Time he'll be there.
No, but my whole thing, and I've said it 1,000 times, DeMarco, when I'm on the Blue Review doing it every single morning, I lean negative for the most part because I'm trying to point at all the little things that are wrong. What can be, and then as you get towards
Why
the
lean
end,
negative though? Why do you lean towards the negative?
Because it's more.
It's fun. Okay, fair. See, at least we're honest. Okay.
Because we've been hurt so many times that we've been in these situations and losing the first round to the Nationals, losing the first round to the Padres, to the Diamondbacks, and do that over and over again. We're looking for what the problems are and what needs to be fixed. And right from the beginning of the season, I was talking about how bad the bottom of the lineup was and I needed more. And you and Emily, Travis, were making fun of me. And look what happened. They fixed the bottom of the lineup.
It's been better. It's been better. Look, they are where they are right now. It's the most obvious, and it is the most, if you were going into a postseason series and said, what are the two things that you absolutely have to win a series? And you can only have two things. The two things you'd pick is I want my best players to be my best players, and I want my bullpen to be good. That's exactly what the Dodgers have been.
Oh, I was going to say starting pitching.
No, not in the playoffs.
Okay. Not here.
Look, and not the way that baseball is played right now. Look, back if you had Andy Pettitte or Madison Bumgarner or Oral Hershiser or one of them, and it was played like that, sure. But right now, I think Aaron Boone, Dave Roberts, you said, look, you're going to get 4 innings out of all of your starting pitching. Literally, Garrett Cole's going to give you 4. Yamamoto's going to give you 4. I think they'd all take it.
Carlos Rodon.
All of them. Like, nobody.
I think Roberts might secretly say, can you give me 5? Because he needs that. Well, he needs that extra inning from the starters more than Boone does.
Yes.
So I think Roberts might get a little greedier.
They're doing the two things you need. Shohei, fantastic. Mookie, fantastic. There's bullpen, fantastic. And if you get those two things, if your bullpen's really good and your best guys are your best guys, I think that's how you win playoff series. And then whatever you get from the next tier of guys, you're going to take. But yeah, they have been as good as they've been in the playoffs in a really long time. And it's not just that they're doing things above and beyond their expectation. They're just Shohei's expectation is an A++, and he's been that. Same with Mookie. That to hit that target is not easy, but they're doing it.
I'm curious what you think, because Ken Rosenthal came out and straight up said that the Dodgers gave away 2 games.
Felt like it.
They gave away Game 2 and Game 5. They totally gave it away. And in the World Series, I don't know if you can do that, but do they go with that same strategy because to trying to keep your bullpen safe through the rest of the series? Or in the World Series, can you give 2 games away?
I don't think you can decide before it starts. I think you need to have it play out in front of you and make decisions, in real time. And look, if they jump Flaherty tonight, I wouldn't be surprised to see Landon Knack. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kasperius.
Well, assuming he's on the roster.
I bet he's off. Him and Enriquez
whoever
off, yeah.
that guy is, whether it's Kasperius, whether it's Enriquez,
Brett
Landon
Honeywell.
Knack 2.0.
Honeywell's probably the guy.
That may be Andy. But I don't think that if they jump Flaherty, you're going to see Kopech as your next guy.
No.
I don't think that's what's going to happen because you're going to have to lean on these guys so much on the rare instances where you can go in another direction. I think they will.
It's also, too, like this is very specific to the Dodgers situation right now with having literally 3 starters.
Yeah.
Like it's not even their 3 best. It's their 3 only ones. So you get put in a position where I don't have, a couple more fungible starters that I can throw out there. You end up having to eat a game because it's like, these are my options. I have a bunch of guys that are used to throwing 2 innings max. Like that's
that's asking a lot.
Right. So you have to toss away some of those games.
I mean, does the Yankees have that much better of a rotation? So they've already said their first 3 starters. So that means they pretty much know the first 4. So it's going to be Garrett Cole, then it's going to be Carlos Rodon, who's very, very good. Then it's
Schmidt,
Clark Schmidt, and then probably Luis Gil.
Yeah.
And like
Dodgers pounded him when they saw him.
Sure, they pounded him. I don't think Schmidt is all that great. He's fine. But so are the 3 Dodger pitchers that you have in Flaherty, Yamamoto, Buehler. I trust Buehler more than some of these guys.
This is going to come down to the bullpens. I think we're spending so much time talking about who's going to go first. It's who's going to go second through the end that's far more important.
I agree.
If you get 4 or 5 innings from Yamamoto, you'll take it and run. Same thing with Flaherty. Same thing with Buehler. And I agree with you, Andy, that if he could get a little more, I think he would want it, but I don't think he's going to get greedy, and he's not going to do that. Hey, let's try to slide him through 1 more. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they have their plan. I think the Yankees have their plan.
They do.
I think that whichever bullpen is better, assuming offenses are the offenses, they win the series. I don't think it's going to come
You
down
think
to
even if Flaherty is just cruising, they don't risk like another inning?
What inning
Depends
are we
on
talking
the yeah.
about?
What's the score?
6th.
What's the score?
3-0.
I think they yank him.
Yank him.
I think.
Yep.
I think they go to their guys.
Okay.
I think because
You go
through 5 innings.
Phillips, Kopech, Trinan.
Phillips, Kopech, Trinan, Vezia if he's there,
Yep.
Gratterall if he's there. You have multiple options there, and when Flaherty loses it, he tends to lose it.
And quickly.
Yeah, I think if you could get 5 with 2 or fewer runs, I think you'd take it because they're going to score. Dodgers are going to score runs.
Yeah, it's going to be. All right, so we talked the last 2 hours about the Dodgers. I'm sure you're going to be talking about the Dodgers, but you're going to get a little bit extra other stuff too, a little bit of Rams.
There was a game here last night.
There
Come
was
on.
a game. Hey, look, this is game 1 of the World Series, DeMarco. This is an important time to be talking about
there
the
was
Dodgers.
another game last night. Yeah, but
there was, which is it
good
was
stuff.
actually a
And you know what?
really
There's
big
another
game.
game tonight,
Yes.
too, as long as we're doing this. The
Lakers
play tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the
who's going to
Lakers
jack
play.
up more threes? The Suns or the Lakers?
The Suns.
Probably. Well,
see? That's the game.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they only put up 30 in game 1. They went back to a very ham-ass look.
And hit 5 of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
5,
That's not a good percentage.
No.
Yeah.
All right, we'll let you guys get into all of
Thank
that
you,
coming up
sir.
next. Travis.